Brace yourself. That's not shit, Asa. That is a tune. Asa's making fun of my musical choices, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Go Live. We're gonna get lit. We're gonna get lit. Shout out to 200 people already tuning in live. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcast, thank you for listening into our sweet, soothing voices that may or may not give you PTSD, but here we are.
He's
week
lying.
Before.
There's only 28 people watching. He's lying. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you're, but they can actually, no, they can't see it. No. Don't you dare tear the illusion away, Fonz.
There's 12,000 people listening right now live. Thank you for being here. 12,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Go Live. We got so many people up in here. We're gonna get lit.
The heads ringing.
I just want to play that
is unmatched.
forever.
It's unmatched.
Yeah, no, you can't match that.
Drugs. No, shout out. Sorry. Shout out everyone in the chat. We have a great show for you. It's gonna be epic. We have a week before the E3, the Xbox Game Showcase. We've had PlayStation's show that's just gone by. We've had some big releases this week, all at once. So we've got greatness, got big news, got controversies, got games actually releasing, and we've got bigger games to, not bigger, but big events and huge games, hopefully, to be revealed very soon. And we're going to get into it. But before we do, you know the drill. It is Asa. Go.
You know, I thought I was like really happy to be back, and then you've gone straight into your fucking Gaz shenanigans, and I'm like, oh, do you want to be one of them then? No, I'm joking. One of them's great. It's going to be a brilliant show. Fonzie's here, Kibbage's here. You know, we always have good conversations with them, and we'll put up with Gaz, won't we? Loads of games around. It's that time of the season. Games releasing, trailers dropping, everything everywhere. New VR headsets, of course, that Gaz completely wasn't even aware of. Games everywhere. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I forgot about that VR thing, but we won't talk about that. Nobody gives a but we might.
Nobody really gives a fuck about VR, really.
I know.
It's so small. The population is tiny.
Yeah.
Hey, Asa cares about it. Come on.
It's just
I
about
love
equivalent
Asa,
to,
so
like,
I
the
care
Xbox
about it for
population,
Asa's
right?
sake. Yeah. Kind of.
I would if I didn't
Broadly.
have glasses. Just saying.
Asa, always good with the comebacks. Always.
Asa's always that. He is like that. He's a silent assassin, like I always say.
I'm a realist. I know where VR is. I know the interest levels. I'm there. I understand. I just love it myself.
Yeah. That's a nice way of saying the toilet. But before we go into the topic, sorry, Asa, but let's talk about these two gents returning. Oh, good friends, long-time friends of the show, supporters, all of that. Fonzarelli, talk to me. We were playing Diablo together. It's like we never left party chat.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Well, you know what? That is the great thing about party chat, right? You get in there with friends and you can't ever leave it. It's hard to go away. Like you're just having a blast with games, and then you're talking about life stuff as well. You're talking about the game. There's just so much cool. There's a cool factor with getting in there. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I'm a geek when it comes to that stuff, but it's really fun. It's fun to sit there and play games with you and Colt and anybody else. Zocker. Colt did not play with us, right? We were making fun of Colt, and it was wrong. Colt doesn't like Diablo 4 people. So while me, Gaz, and Zocker are in a party playing, we're like, Colt, come join us. Oh, that's right. You don't have the game. Oh, that's right. You don't like it. So, and
like,
Gaz
hey,
had a
Colt,
zinger with him. Yeah. Go ahead and tell it.
I was like, Colt, hey, do you hear the sounds of our fun and happiness? It'd be nice if you could join in.
This is what it sounds like to have fun, Colt. That's what you said. You bastard. No, it was funny. We're just giving each other a hard time.
No, it's good. I was while we were on party chat, I was speaking to my girlfriend as well, and I was like, she could hear you guys and some of the crazy stuff you were saying. And
No.
Yeah, it was bad. And then it was just funny because I was trying to explain to her, look, my friend, one of Ethan's, but they're all in America. One's in San Fran, Fonz, the others are everywhere, and we're just playing like, and we've never met.
Did your girlfriend watch last week's episode of this show?
She had a go at me.
Oh,
I was going to say, because your party chat's probably fine.
Oh yeah, true. She didn't watch the whole show. She watched the clip of me taking my shirt off. She goes, when I tell you to do it on camera, you never do it, but you do it for random people. I'm like, I'm a slut. What can I say? I did it for you, people. I did it for you. But yeah, no, it's party chat gaming is like that's what we got into it for in the 360 gen. And there's one guy who I've only played one time with, which is KBG, and we played Halo. We were getting destroyed. And you know why I got destroyed? I had the bloody input lag on the TV on. Remember, I was trying to figure it out?
Yes.
I had the wrong mode on. So I had like input delay. I didn't realize until ages. I wanted to tell you that. But last but certainly not least, it is the man with the energy. It is KBG.
The flags! Okay.
Muscles every time I see you.
Every time anybody sees that, dude, they're like, "Where the frick did that come from?"
Yeah, where did that come from? Because it gets bigger and bigger.
It shocks me too, man. I had like a great because I'm around the Seattle area, and I was having a great like hangout with my best buddy a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like riding on his one wheel, and I like look at the building reflection. I'm like, when the frick did this happen? Like, when did this happen? I don't understand. He's like, you look at yourself in the mirror all the time, and I'm like, but I'm fixing my hair or some shit. Like, I don't think about it.
That's what I do, but when I look at my stomach, I'm like, how did this happen?
How did this
What
happen?
happens if you persevere with Halo Infinite?
Yeah, exactly. This is the body of one that deals with the patient.
That's what happens when you stay on party chat all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's good to be here. Good to be on the show. Glad to be with you, chat. Peter Moreland. I see two Pete's actually. Blue Moon, Tim. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Oh no, it's Alex. I recognize that.
Alex,
guys,
yeah, he's out there flexing in the chat, I'm sure.
We're gonna have some fun today. There's some good topics, and yeah, we'll find out if I'm playing Diablo 4 and why I may or may not be. So.
Oh, that seems a bit. He wouldn't even tell us in the green room if he was playing that chat. But well, we'll get into it. Before we do, it's Face 23 Brooklyn, New York, our favorite PlayStation guy, who with a generous $20 super chat. Microsoft can have the greatest. I haven't read this, Face, but I love the fact that this. I'm not reading it yet. Oh, this there. It sounds like it's coming from a position of fear, Face, but let me read it. Microsoft can have the greatest show, but people will remember the one last thing that was Redfall that turned out to be horrible. So besides having a great show, they have to release quality AAA games. Well, Face, fine, but they don't have to wait too long because September isn't that far away, bruv. And then we'll find out a game that PlayStation can never have. Starfield. You should do your Starfield voice once. But yeah.
Starfield.
Starfield. But you're right though, Face. Like, you know, they have a... Look, we'll talk about that. We'll bring that at the end, Face. I'm going to actually copy and paste your super chat and just bring it back at the end to steer it. Because at the end of this show, we're actually going to talk about the Xbox Showcase event and what we think is actually coming. This is a week before, bruh. We have to get into it. It's proper, deep into it and what can happen, including, yes, I know, Fable. But before we do, we have to talk about the games that actually came out. Before we do that, let's just talk about what the panel have been playing. Acer, what have you been playing? Some VR shit no one cares about, or proper pancake games?
Everything. I've played fucking loads this week. I've played Cyberpunk. I played Diablo 4. I played Street Fighter. I played The Ascent. I played Asgard's Wrath, and I played Horizon Forbidden West. All in the space of the last week.
Wow.
Which is like, that's a list, and I could talk about every single one of them for ages, but I'm not going to. 2 of them will be topics as we go on. 3 of them if I manage to sneak in some VR.
Asgard's Wrath. I need to play that. I've been playing all sorts as well. But you beat me by 2 games. Asgard's Wrath, is that aged well, by the way?
As we're not going to cover the VR thing particularly, I'll say during the week they announced Asgard's Wrath 2 for for the Quest devices, and it is such a step back from Asgard's Wrath 1 in terms of like the visual spectacle. The first game it looks phenomenal when you're in that headset. You can go and play that today on like a current today headset, and it's incredible. It's a shame that you don't get that from Facebook and Meta anymore, but which for me, and as this is my one chance to inject the VR bit in, that game, Asgard's Wrath 2, that epitomized the whole showcase, the metagaming showcase in the week. It's like, it's really positive that Meta is still throwing money at virtual reality games, and there is some brilliant stuff in there, but all of it looked worse than the games we had 5 years ago when they supported it on like the PC side of things. So the direction that they've taken it is, it's such a mixed bag, and Asgard's Wrath 2 is just like, that's the epitome of it.
So even by your admission, it looks like it's a bit. I do want VR to succeed. It's just not our crowd here. Anyway, plus I'm a bit apathetic to it recently because I haven't seen anything crazy. But okay, a lot of games. What about you, KBG? What have you been playing, sir?
Dude, it's been a really like crazy week, and I'm really disappointed that I have not and not just like in the media. I mean like in terms of just the KBG life, if you will. And like, I am so disappointed that I have barely touched Tears of the Kingdom. Like Gaz was gonna have me on a show a while ago, but we decided to switch that out so I would be a sort of Nintendo guy to talk about that game. And I'm telling you, I have not been hooked on it, surprisingly, as everybody else is. And Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, but that's what that's the main thing I've been playing lately is Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just very frustrated that I keep like bouncing in and out of it. I check Halo Infinite. Is there a good weekly? Or I'll jump in a thing of Fall Guys with some friends. I'm still stuck on my Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel crack. Nobody I know will play that, understandably. So I keep bouncing into these multiplayers that keep distracting me from playing Zelda. And I want to play Planet of Lana, man. This year's crazy. This year's insane. We are in the craziest year of gaming ever. Maybe we'll allude to that, but yeah, we will. So I'm trying to play Tears of the Kingdom more. I am liking it. I am enjoying it, but I don't think I'm as hooked on it as others.
Play it more. There are some bits.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that. Not as strong of a hook as the first game, in my opinion, but
it'll get stronger. I am very confident. Yeah, I'll get confident that you're like, oh, this is way better than Breath of the Wild. But we'll see.
Mostly the tools. I need more exploration tools, and I hear you get them later on. I'm like, I want to start with that. So yeah,
you'll get that. I'm very confident in you being satisfied. But I get that you're bouncing between multitude of games, and I'm like that right now as well.
It's just multiplayers, man. It's the last week of Knockout City. Shout out to Knockout City. If you want to play that, this is your last week to try it out before it goes away. Yeah.
Really?
I was booting that up this morning, and I'm like, damn, I forgot how to play.
You know what? I might actually. Okay.
Dude, do it with me. We'll do it.
I'll do it with you. Let's do it. Because I've got a thumbnail as well that I never use because I was going to make a video on Knockout City, how much fun it has. And I can just change
hit me up tomorrow.
Well, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it. Last but certainly not least, Fonz, I know which game you're playing, Mr. Rogue on Diablo. But anything else? Or you've been swimming in the Diablo?
No, so I was playing Jedi Survivor, and I had to put it down because the performance there in the performance mode just isn't up to par, man. Like, I'm sorry to say. No. I know. Listen. As it goes on, and you just get these little stutters here and there, and you know it should look better than that as well. Like, there's issues there, and just turn off the goddamn ray tracing, please. I mean, that's what they need to do for performance mode. Let us have the option to turn it off. And I know a lot of people that got through the game and said I didn't have any issues with it, but they played it in 30 frames, and I refuse to do that. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm done like playing, you know, a lot of these games at 30 frames. If there's a mode there for performance, it should work.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. The game is so good. It's so freaking good. The story's good. There's a lot of stuff cool that happens in the game because I'm pretty far into it. Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna take a step back, wait for them to patch this up. But that negatively reflects my overall score of that game for sure. For sure.
It's funny, the Fallen Order got docked on points for bugs, but I think in this case, the performance issues are so much, it's preventative of enjoying that should, in my opinion, dock a few points.
And so people that just overlook that, it's like, okay, if you can play it at 30, great, fine. But because, and I probably could too, but I'm not going to get it twisted there. But if I see a performance mode that's there, just fix it. Damn it, fix it, and I'll enjoy the game.
Yeah.
So,
no, definitely. They need
so
to fix
now
that.
it's Diablo. Now Diablo 4 is out, and look, I played a little bit the other night. I decided to go with Rogue. I was like, hey, why not? I've never played a Rogue before in any game. I just never picked that class. I always, because my thought process when it comes to Rogues is it's stabby, stabby, stab. You get behind the enemy and you just stab, and that's it. But in Diablo 4, you've got so much more there to unlock. You can throw your knives. You can freaking stab them, run away. They come back to you, and they go through loads of enemies, and you can use a bow. Like, there's so many ranged attacks as well, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot to do with this Rogue. So
I might make a Rogue.
I'm enjoying it, man. It's a lot of fun.
It is. And yeah, just to wrap things up on games we play, I've been playing Planet of Lana, which I almost completed. Beautiful game.
What do you think? Oh, damn it, I want to play it.
Beautiful game. I mean, gameplay wise, it's very rote, and some of the puzzles, like pull box here, swing from the rope, but it's just so beautiful. I kept recording. I almost tempted to make a video on it. I know no one will watch it, but it's so beautiful. Like, this is the kind of indie stuff I really like. I'm like, this is like in the AAA space. I don't get wowed so much by it. I almost completed it. That game is beautiful. So I've been playing that
both visually and music wise. I hear, both. Like, for the eyes and
the audio is really good. The little creature, a lot of games do it, but it's so cute. It's like a little cat. You feel for it, and it makes a noise when you tell it to stop. It's like, I'm like, oh man, come back here. I'm such a.
It's the studio's first game, I think, too.
Is it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very impressive because apart from one bug I had with it when I died and the little kid's legs were flying everywhere and stretched out. It was really, this game, as it looks there, is running on stream right now, is very beautiful. 9 out of 10. The gameplay would pull it down for me because as beautiful as it is, I think it could have done well or better with more gameplay, puzzle variety, especially when it comes to something. I know we shouldn't compare it with Tears of the Kingdom, but even like mini puzzles, like they outshine a lot of things. I'm not saying that's overly critical. I'm just saying,
or even comparing it to like fellow Inside, like
Inside is a good example as well. Like that kind of like it needed a little bit more variety. At this point, I feel like I'm desperately trying to complete the puzzles to see the next spectacle. Just look at it.
Yes, I could feel that.
The world is beautiful. It's just so well designed, and I really like that game. So I've been playing that. Played Street Fighter 6, which we'll talk about. Diablo, Tears of the Kingdom. That's been really good. I've been playing some others. Played Tekken 7. Finally, because I used to be a big Tekken head and stopped after a while. I think the only campaign.
Did Street Fighter get you back into Tekken? Is that what happened? Kind of. I wanted to. Tekken 7 is a problem because Tekken 7 on the Series X, and that's where I want to play now. Most of my games, the Series X version is terrible because they haven't upgraded the resolutions. It's panned. I don't know why Namco aren't supporting it properly and upgrading it. I kind of want to play that in readiness for the new Tekken. So Tekken 8 is going to be looking great. Played Street Fighter. We'll talk about Street Fighter in a bit. But yeah, I've played that complete. Worst. Oh my God. Kazuya, the last boss, so cheap. But it's easy when you figure it out. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. But yeah, we're going to get into it. We're definitely going to get into it. But before we do that, we have to shout out H2O in the chat. For him, let's play some. For my Dubai brother, yeah? This guy comes in with $100 super chat. It says, greetings all and blessings to the panel member. Thank you to you, man. And he goes, hey, Gaz, tell the dudes in green to get their marketing games up here. Yes, in Dubai, in Middle East, because he's making it very easy for the dudes in blue. It's 12 p.m. in the midnight. It's midnight. I'm out from Dubai with love. Shout out to you, man. And not just because
obviously donate $100 as Arab money, but also the fact that, and I keep seeing this, a lot of people reach out to me for Arabs, a lot of Muslim guys saying, hey man, like we don't get enough tech support or subtitle support. And also like, where's the marketing? Like there's nothing. This is why Microsoft's so shit at marketing.
Well, I mean, they don't even have the marketing here. So what makes you think they're going to have it there?
That's actually an excellent point. It's non-existent here. Why would they even be in Saudi? But they should try, because Sony does a really good job.
Well, I don't know. Did you see their latest marketing ad with that kid from Stranger Things? Holy crap, was that cringe.
I thought that really weird. What was that about?
It just basically celebrity endorsement, giving a celebrity free swag to endorse your product. That's all it was. Hey guys, I got free crap. Here I am. Like
he looks so dead in that. I don't know if that's his default face, because in
that's
like
just his default face.
Is this the default face? Okay.
You know, it's like PlayStation wants to. They really want to rub elbows with Hollywood. I mean, you know, the Sony Pictures, all that stuff. They're showing movies on their game showcase. Yeah, I mean, they want to incorporate Hollywood in a big way. I think that's another thing they're trying to go after as well. The Jim Ryan era. It's a little different. A little different from Sean Layden's.
Gaming says it's like a casting couch promo. What kind of shit are you watching?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just weird. I found it weird. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. Even the PlayStation guys were making fun of it, going, "Hey, this is not it, PlayStation." Like,
I think they need to be careful, PlayStation. They're getting a little bit bold and comfortable with a market lead. This is what I'm saying to the PlayStation guys. You make fun of Xbox all the time, but Xbox is the one that keeps PlayStation at their feet, because otherwise you're just going to get this and you can't say much about it. And the fallout from the PlayStation showcase will be felt at Sony. So do expect a response. Problem is, these things take time to respond to. So when are they going to actually be able to sort that out? Because unanimous, since that place, I've been making fun of Pony. Of course I would. I'm a toxic piece of shit. But that showcase
you are.
was a gift to Xbox. No, what I was going to say is the toxic.
Asa, how do you put up with this guy? How do you put up with this guy?
I've been tuned out for a few minutes there.
Week in, week out. Like, it's like you're just staring through nothing. You're like staring through the void as he's talking. You're like, just holy crap. What's he saying?
Man, I have so much material for Source Part 2 video.
Guys, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I love the way you are, but yeah, sometimes it's like, woo, everywhere.
I know.
It's hard to keep up.
I imagine what my brain is like for me.
Dude.
By the way, shout out to Web Dave. He says, what an amazing panel. Ace's interview drops Monday. So check out Web Dave's channel. And he's interviewed Asa. So if he's talking about VR, apologies. I don't
think we went into VR very much, but we went into a lot of stuff. So yeah, do check that out. Give Web Dave a subscribe and learn a bit more about GameOnDaily and our history.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys.
I bet it was like this. So Asa, Gaz, what the fuck? The whole time, like, you're just talking, and he's all, but Gaz, like, why? What? Why?
Everyone says that all the time to me.
But I know why. I know why. You're entertaining, Gaz. You're entertaining.
I had the question, someone asked it on Q&As from Thursday. They said, like, how did you meet Gaz? And then somebody else said, like, why? Why did you meet Gaz?
Why?
And where was this? The dumpster?
Why did you meet Gaz and then keep meeting Gaz? Why would you keep meeting after that?
Well, it was
that's why.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Why are we ripping on Gaz? We're here to talk.
I love Gaz. I love Gaz. He knows he's a close friend. That's why I do it. We're close, man.
Yeah, we're always touching tips. And on that note, Diablo 4.
That's one of the phrases.
Yep, there it is. Is that it? Touching tips is one of the phrases.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Well, I won't say touching tips again.
It's not going to work like that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Oh, man, that thing is massively huge.
What the fuck is that?
What was that? What was that?
Is that Colt
Soundboard?
There's like earphones. I was like,
why do you have that just at the ready?
Oh, man.
You were just on a show and you're like, I'm clipping this.
Bro, am I still in party chat?
You
I was
don't-
so confused.
Yeah, I've got a lot of clips of a lot of people.
Oh, that actually messed me up. That's brilliant. But Diablo 4 is out now. A lot of you may or may not be Diablo fans. I was actually quite recently, about, I think 4 or 5 months ago, my friend Dino who introduced me to this. He says, look, just play Diablo 3, Gaz. I know you're not big into isometric stuff. I said, fine. Played it, Necromancer, and I was hooked, and I almost 100% at that game. The game is incredible. So Diablo 4, I followed all, like, Asa, you've been a Diablo Blizzard head much longer than me. So I'm hearing, it's Alex Alex has a vendetta against it, and he loves Path of Exile. And I'm not saying Alex is off there, because, again, I defer to his knowledge on that. But months on end, people, before this game was coming out, I kept saying, watch how when it launches, it's going to have performance issues, there's going to be server queues, everything. Wrong. I was wrong. Play the game, not even one server queue. There was nothing.
We're playing with the the early edition right now, right? The Ultimate Edition. So that's a good point. It doesn't open up to everybody until next week, and
that's true. Yeah.
We got to see what happens when that happens.
That's a good point. Actually, I didn't even consider that.
I did get booted once last night, and I had to queue back in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it happened one time. But other than that, it's been smooth sailing. Like within the game, I don't have any hitches or any problems. Everything's been great, even with or without anybody in the party. It's been really good. So,
and they beta tested this to hell, man. Like they had a small one, then they had a bigger public one, and then they had like a server slam. They really wanted to be sure they weren't going to repeat a Diablo 3 launch, which became a meme. So
exactly.
They ironed it out.
And I thought this was going to become a meme as well. I did say that if this came out on Game Pass, then it would be a tough challenge, whoever you are, and no matter how many betas you do, because that would have caused a surge of players. It's a shame Microsoft can't get its deal through in time for this launching, and I'm sure that hurts. But this game has launched out. It got a 87-ish meta, but generally it's been met very positively by the community. Asa, have you been playing? You said you played Diablo, so
I have been playing it. Yeah, I played Necromancer in the beta, like just a little bit. I don't generally play much of a beta, but I did give that one a try. Now that it's launched, I'm doing a baby mode sorcerer, and then I'll do the other classes in hardcore. But sorcerer at the moment, I'm not very far into it. I'm only like level 9. I just played it a bit last night.
Okay.
I'm addicted to the sound of it. I just keep playing because just simple things, smashing stuff in the environment, killing everything. It just sounds so rich, and that's it. That's it. It's hooked me. I have massive concerns over the battle pass and the long-term monetization of the game, but and some of the stuff that Alex said on the show last week about this Ashes of Allah that boosts the rate that you level up and stuff. I've got little tolerance for shit like that, but I haven't hit that yet, and I'm just having fun with it.
Well, Alex is in the chat. It says he says Diablo 4 isn't bad. It's just very barren in terms of content. There's a good skeleton, but it needs to do so much more than Diablo 3 and be closer to Path of Exile. I don't know what he means, but for me, I'm a noob when it comes to this game, but the content is mad. Like, to me, I don't know what. Yeah, like for me, it's like crazy. The story in this game, by the way, people, is amazing. Like the cutscene, I was in cutscene party chat with some other people, and I was like, "Yo, it's one of those games where you have to mute everyone, and listen to the cutscene, and I'm listening to the dialogue."
Yes.
Yeah.
It was one because you guys said you were at a party earlier, and I was like, do you still talk when those cutscenes are happening?
No. That doesn't happen. And we didn't run into any cutscenes because we were just doing the dungeons. We were just having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, so Gaz just mentioned like the story stuff, and that's like I played the beta, and that's exactly what I thought. Gaz, are you like a newcomer like me? Like, because I haven't played.
I played Diablo 3 a lot.
Okay, that's right. You said that.
That's
yeah.
it.
Because I didn't know what to expect going into it. Like, but that was the first thing when I started it. I was just like, why are there cutscenes? Like, I was like,
and
damn, there's an actual plot.
Right? They're really good.
What?
Yeah.
But what I've been hearing in the reviews, which again, the reviews folks have been averaging out around like 8 or 9 out of 10. So this is reviewing really good. But from what I've been hearing, people are saying the story is actually kind of weak. And I'm like, really? Because the start's awesome. And then I heard in a review, they even say the beginning starts off great. But then I was like, oh.
It's all about the end game with these types of games, though. And that is yet to be really revealed for everybody. So all these scores that you're seeing now are based on the story. So you're getting a lot of 9s and 10s based on this gameplay and story, you know, what you got going on before really the end game and the battle passes and all that shit. So there's a lot to take in.
Because of the end game, they're giving it the good scores. That's what I was hearing.
I'm glad they just went back with a more gory look, a more realistic look to the game, because 3 went a little cartoony. But this, man, I think it looks gorgeous, especially on the Series X. You mentioned the sound; it also visually is impressive.
Yeah. Bro, you can zoom in if you press a hold up on the D-pad, and you can zoom in, and you can still see that, like, even in the cutscenes when there's continuity of your characters. I'm Necromancer, and I've got black eyes and like red whatever. And it's just to see that in a cutscene is really cool. But when it zooms in, the detail of the cutscene, they're in-engine cutscenes a lot of the time, and the in-engine stuff looks good like a AAA game, not an isometric game. You could almost have this game in third person. Imagine what this would look like. I mean, obviously not fully there, but it's very, very visually competent. I thought it was beautiful.
You know, you got a guy in the chat, MMA Pro Fighter, who's just constantly spamming that there's no impact to anything you do in the game. And I'm like, well, I see it. Like, I feel it. Like, it doesn't, it's not as impactful as some other games, but it just works. It works.
MMA Pro Fighter, just answer this. Are you a PlayStation gamer? Say yes or no.
No, he said that he wants it in Game Pass. He said it should be free in Game Pass.
Because if it was a third person, it's like, okay, stop spamming.
Well, it's dungeon crawlers. If you're not into dungeon crawlers, then you're not going to be into this game. That's basically it. If you're not into dungeon crawlers, you're not going to.
I mean, come on, man. Like, it's not going to be for everyone.
Do you have a problem with the impact of your weapons and stuff? I have an issue. Like,
bro, the impact is more like even like the little details of how the enemies die. So I was talking about my friend Dino, and he said, "Look, notice how if you kill someone with fire ability, they'll turn into ash. If you do it with ice, the way they end, the killing blow, the animations, and you notice all these little touches. And I'm like, and when you go through the snow, the way the snow deforms, bro." Can I talk about the art style? Like, I was recording it. There was that dungeon. We did that dungeon fonts with the spider leg things everywhere. I was like, what the flip is this design? And that kind of dark, it's a very dark world, which I really like. I love that kind of dark design, almost Lovecraftian style. But it's almost, I know it's not exactly like that, but it's just the visual touches and details for an isometric game are very high.
Yeah, and I'm not into isometric games. I'm not into them. But Diablo I've always been into. Like, there's something about the Diablo franchise that just gets dungeon crawlers right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the way they felt.
Yeah, and I'm going to play this. Someone on Twitter was asking me. Sorry.
Just to talk about the impact, I'm not sure if he was referring to the impact of like weapons and combat and stuff, but Diablo does that very, very well for me, partly because the sound is so forceful, but partly because everything like the ragdoll physics of your enemies and stuff. You mentioned them turning to ash and things, but the way that they die, the impact is like bang, everything feels so heavy, so loud. Diablo 3 did this very well as well, to be fair, but everything's really heavy. The scenery around you, there's loads of bits that will like shatter in the direction of impact as well. Everything feels forceful and powerful in Diablo. That's one thing. Like, I can understand people not liking this particular style of game for whatever reason, but that particular criticism is like, don't know, it feels pretty weighty and tasty to me.
Yeah, it was really beautiful playing with Gaz and Zocker, because we were at a point where we were fighting this massive group, and all I saw was everybody's special abilities going everywhere and all these particle effects and everything. It was amazing looking. And I was just like, I was having a blast doing my thing. They're doing their thing. And I was just taking it in going, man, this is a beautiful game. This is really beautiful.
And it does help. The visual quality of that game makes it more inviting to play. So it's like, even an isometric shooter where you don't think that visual qualities should be high in priority, I think Diablo will kind of change the perspectives, because it's like the sum of the whole experience. Obviously, there are more important things, but genuinely, I feel like that addictive level of, I need to go, I'm level 30 now. My friend's level 51. Tino is like level probably 60 now. And playing Necromancer, I'm like, oh, I need to get the mount because it's like WoW all over again. I need to get the mount and just get new abilities. When you get your talent combo right, because my friend Dino was telling me how to just like reset your skills and just think about the combos of what you're doing. So I'm Necromancer with corpse explosion, but then I've got these corpse so spec it in a way where if you increase vulnerability and stuns, it just damage stacks, and it's just watching it happen. And then you get you two were playing, and you guys had abilities that actually like made enemies vulnerable as well, and they had stuns, and it was just stacking in a way, and just like so much shit on screen. It just felt so exciting doing right bumper,
satisfying, It's just so very good. Satisfying seeing the numbers go up and everything. Yeah, totally. And I was teasing at this earlier, so. I played the open beta, and I loved the open beta so much so that I'm just like, dude, this might be a Game of the Year contender. Oh my God, 2023 is insane.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
This
year's been great.
I was tempted to buy it, man. I was tempted, but I have to admit, I did not get it, so I do not have the official copy. I played the beta to death. I was loving the beta, but then here's what happened. Because I'm just a very frugal person, guys. Like, I live off of the little stuff that I get off of just freelance and everything. I don't need to get fancy dinners or to have a nice car or to go out with friends all the time. I try to save my money. And so there's a part of me that's just like, if I just hold out for this deal to close, if I could just hold out,
I'm gonna be waiting for a long time.
There's a lot of people doing that.
Just buy it. Just buy it, man. It's not gonna close anytime
frustrating.
Soon.
But also, I said before, like I'm still barely touched Tears. I want to play Lana. I still haven't touched Benedict Fox, and I'm like, am I just gonna kep adding to the pile and spend money? Like,
I will say this to be piece of shit. No, I would say, look, you don't want to. Part of the fun is being part of that group of community as well.
That is true.
So if you did buy it, we'll play with you, man, and level up, party up, and you just have a different kind of experience than you would with Diablo. You played years
you said
later.
You play Fall Guys with me, and that never happened. So I don't take your word.
I'm ready. It's if I play Fallout, will you buy Diablo? Maybe.
My chances will be upped.
Okay, fair enough. Hoggy chatting with the $2 super chat is in Kazakhstan, Gaznanigans flow freely.
Gaznanigans.
That's
like
a good word.
Coin it.
Coin it. Copyright.
Well, that is your daddy in the chat, so shout out to your dad, Hargeet.
Shout out to my dad. Oh man, that was so funny.
Really?
We were talking about
yeah, it's Hargeet's Gaz's dad.
Not my
for
dad,
real.
Did you just say that really?
Yeah.
I did. I'm like, is it really? I'm the most gullible person ever. Just FYI. So if you want to have fun this show, you can trick me left and right.
No, Fritango was just joking because we're both Asians. He had to be my dad. It was brilliant though. We were laughing about it.
Oh, so when you call him Daddy Geet, that's something else? That means something. Oh, man.
Daddy Geet.
Oh, man.
That sounds weird. Why'd you have to take it there, Mods?
I support you, though.
Touching tips.
That's what you want to do.
There it is. Every time you say it, there's a trigger word like fusion from Dragon Ball Z, and then he has to drink. There it is. I'm gonna get him drunk.
He's going to be drunk by the time we get to halfway through the show.
Guess his trigger word that I say all the time. We'll figure it out.
Does auto-tune trigger that too?
No.
I was gonna say
I'd be dead.
Because that would just be drinking constantly.
I'd be dead.
No, fuck off, Isla. Don't tell him. There's various ones, and I have gone through them with people. The people that I've gone through them with cannot say them.
I'm sure. If you keep saying that, you just get pregnant. Drink up, boy. Thank you, Isla, for that.
Nip out and get some more.
Shout out to 520 people watching. Smash that like button. So we've had Diablo. Diablo's gonna we're playing the early version, right? Like the whatever version.
The ultimate.
It comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah, the ultimate.
The £30 version, $30 version. Yeah,
yeah.
The 6th, whenever the 6th.
666.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's good. What's the poll saying? 68% of you saying yes. I think we've got a mixed bag, but mostly console players, so it's quite high.
A lot of people are playing this game, man. A lot of people that didn't even play previous Diablos are into this game.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it shocks
The
me.
reviews help too. Like, I have a friend that's never played Diablo, just like you said, and he gets so caught up in the hype, and just when somebody's reviewing well and everybody's talking about it, he's like, I want to play it. I'm just like, you had no interest in this before that.
Yeah.
To be fair, like Activision and Blizzard, I really dislike Activision with a passion, but Activision and Blizzard have always been very, very good at marketing and building hype and timing the way that they drip feed information. So hype for Diablo was like through the roof before the reviews hit. And a big part of that is just that the game was good and they let people play it. And they went, oh, this is good. And that obviously helps with the marketing push in a big way. But I will still say I miss rolling very, very much from Diablo 3.
Oh, thank you. I miss that too, because I hate that thing on cooldown, the evade thing, it's dodge or whatever. It's annoying. So
well, you like the spamming of the roll from Diablo 3? I think I preferred that. I think I liked that a lot, but I think the evade, there's, especially with the rogue, the way I'm using the evade.
Oh, yeah.
It works really well with that class.
Hopefully they upgrade it so you get like 2 dashes or 3. I'm sure you do. Like
I just wish I was able to do it more often. That or faster anyway. The cooldown was smaller.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what people think actually, but genuinely it's really positive, and I think this is a game that I'm going to stick beyond endgame just because there's a lot there. There's PvP. I know Alex says there isn't. I'll find out, but we'll see. So anything else, gents, you want to add to Diablo?
There was something I saw somebody mention earlier, and not to start the console war shenanigans, but I just find this interesting because I was curious myself. I see like even Abdi in the chat, the whole Xbox store is Diablo themed. Like did Xbox score like a marketing deal with these guys? Because I just thought that was interesting. Like I was looking at PlayStation stuff and I'm like, why does it feel like here's the Xbox bundle console, here's it all over our front page, and it just didn't seem like I was seeing that on PlayStation's channel. So
I think because I know the deal hasn't gone through yet, but I think because of the relationship that Activision has cultivated with Microsoft, I think that they're kind of leaning that way.
Yeah,
already.
And this is on the Blizzard half of it specifically.
Yeah.
Like they showed Overwatch with
Diablo does have a marketing deal with Xbox, by the way.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe. But they also showed Overwatch 2 at the showcase last year. So maybe it's on the Blizzard side. And maybe the Activision side has something with PlayStation. I don't know. But anyways, just kind of a curious thing.
Okay. Well, it's a good get. And it's a shame they couldn't get in Game Pass because I think that would make huge news.
I would be playing it right now. No question.
Yeah. A lot of people would be.
I wouldn't be playing the game right now if it were, well... Anyway, let's go.
What? I don't get it.
You know what I'm referring to.
He's worried about the servers being slammed. But I will say they did a public open beta that people didn't have to pay a dime to play. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, it's a success. If the deal goes through, that comes to Game Pass, it's going to be a huge addition to Game Pass because that is a lot of game you're getting for very little money. We all did that £30 trick as well. I didn't know. I thought it was personal to me, so I did it. Refunded the old game, got it instantly. Microsoft refunded the money instantly, a bit like a bot. Like they just did it. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I got this deal where you could buy it. It says only for you, £30. I thought it was maybe because I've spent so much crap on money on it or something, but it wasn't. It was universal, so it worked. So yeah, their refund policy is amazing. Episode 13, it was just incredible. It was instant. I was like, yo, that was so easy to get into as well. But yeah, that's Diablo. Let's talk about another big game released, which I don't know which gents of you guys have played. Street Fighter 6. 6 is big deal, man. It's been a long time since Street Fighter 5. It's been even longer since Xbox guys have been playing the next Street Fighter. So what, 10 years?
I didn't think of that. It's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, it's a long time, bro. So Street Fighter is back on Xbox, on everywhere, on PlayStation and PC. And what I was not expecting were the Metacritic review scores. We didn't do one for Street Fighter, funnily enough, but I think most of us would have been like 89, maybe
It's around the same. It's reviewing averagely around like 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 92 meta, wasn't it? Or something crazy at 30 plus at the time I watched it. I was like, what the flip? So I've been playing it, but before, have you played it, QBG?
So I haven't, I haven't played it, but here's the thing. My roommate is like massive fighting game fan. So I've kind of been experiencing this game through him, like, but it makes me excited, you know, because like I tell people all the time, my excitement is like half driven off of others. It really is. So that's why I was like, instead of me trying out this game, I would rather just watch you experience this. So I just had him play it in front of me, the demo, and he shares thoughts with me, and I've been watching the reviews and stuff. But it's been great to hear his thoughts and kind of just see what the community's thinking about it, man. It's so cool. It is like the first Street Fighter game that really does kind of grab me as somebody that doesn't play fighting games, because they've done such a good job, if you're not into fighting games, doing the up down circle combo, you know, and making sure you do a back forward before you do that. If you're not into that, cool, there's modern controls for you where they make it so like it's Smash Bros, where all you have to do is a forward special and you'll do an attack like that. You're not going to be able to get nitty gritty if you do the whole up down kitty lick thing, but you'll be able to do some very nice moves. And then there's even a lower, you just down killer jack. and even if you want to learn a new character, the tutorials for every character in this game is through the moon. Like they have pages of of things that you can learn. If you want to figure out a character, they give you plenty of hands-on tutorials to do it. So yeah, it's been great.
That's interesting. That's so
seeing
interesting.
And hearing. I think that's a great thing for people like me. It's accessibility.
That's crazy. So when I was playing it, I was so pissed because I played went to the thingy mode. What's the middle mode? Like basically
World
hub world. World tour.
Yeah.
But the world tour was the single player. Then you've got
that's a single
hub world. What was it called? Where you go with your avatar.
Battle hub.
Battle hub. Yeah. My God. Of course there's good. By the way, the creator character thing is ridiculously detailed in this. It's ridiculous. I don't think I've seen
people made the most wanky things. They just make their avatar just look like a whole
I just want to say it's literally this, like a wide body, really short, stumpy person goes like that, but massively muscles. Like, what is it? Why do everyone do it? And it's so funny doing that. But
and they named it Aloy. Yeah.
You messy fonts. But yeah, like when I played it and master mode was there, I'm like, I was like, this is terrible. How dare you? I felt insulted that you put this in me because I lost the game. I'm trying to do down forward. It's doing this. I'm like, oh no, it's on master mode. So I can't. I'm like, it tells you when you're on it. It took me ages to figure out how to actually change it and your character. But netcode, early impressions, really good, really good. I played about 5 online games, really good. I'm so happy about that. I forgot the name of the netcode again, but it seems like it's really good. I've only played a few characters, but what's her name? Junie?
What do they do?
She's a really limber chick.
Is she the crazy one with like the leg?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's the one that my boy is like sipping over hard. I don't remember her name, but
no, but she's really good because I've started playing with her, and Ken was a bit slow. Jury, thank you, Jury. Yeah, she's really good, fast and nimble. I'm there. I didn't think I would get the hook in. I'm there, but I will say this. I did the story mode. I did a complete. You only have to do like 5 levels per story, and it's just like it's not good compared to Mortal Kombat. I played Tekken, right? So Tekken has these cool cutscenes, but in between you have these like reading these panels like of messages or like like slideshow. Press A and he's saying the story. It's a voiceover of Ken. And I'm like, this is so far beyond what Mortal Kombat does that I can't get excited for it. Yeah. Like I did the whole thing with Ken, and I was just like, it's like back to old Street Fighter 1 story, you'd get, but I don't know.
The thing that I kind of like about it though is that you could just literally pick a fight with anybody, which looks so ridiculous to me. But yeah, I heard an interesting line. I think it was on a Kind of Funny's review where I think Blessing is the one that reviewed it. And he was saying, you know, like, yeah, the single player thing, it's there. It's not bad or anything, but it's not we're going to be going to this game to play. And it gets kind of, you know, it's not the thing that makes this game great. And, you know, he was giving it like, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. And he's like, what if the single player wasn't there? Then he's like, but that's the problem. Then there's just not a single player period. So it's like either way, you know, like, so it only gets to be that 5 out of 5 if the single player is hopping, but because it's not, the rest of the game is what carries it. So 4 to 5. So yeah.
And it's a missed opportunity because they spent so much time on building characters, but
very ambitious. Yeah, very ambitious one.
With that open world stuff. Some of it's weird though. Fonz, you're not a Street Fighter guy, are you?
I used to be in high school, the arcade.
Yeah.
Big time. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, played the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Anywhere we found the cabinet, we'd play the hell out of that, me and my best friend. And then, you know, I still played fighting games over the years. I played, you know, a lot of Killer Instinct, and then Street Fighter 5 on the PlayStation, played a lot of that as well.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Then
didn't play that.
I just kind of fell off of it when I started getting my ass kicked really hardcore because I'm getting old and I can't pull off the moves like, you know, I used to be able to, especially.
So would you use Master Mode? Do you think you'd be more inclined to use it?
Modern mode.
I wouldn't use modern mode. I wouldn't use that. It's kind of like a handicap, and plus you'll be at a disadvantage as well because I feel like if somebody's playing and can get, you know, those other moves off that you can't pull off using those basic control system schemes. Yeah, I
feel like it's double-edged sword though because what's it called? Keep calling Master. A modern
classic,
mode.
modern, and dynamic are the three.
Classic. That's what. Yes, that's it. Yep.
Plus, I'm just not into those games anymore. Like I've fallen out of love with a lot of genres, and that's one of them. That and racing games, I just don't do them anymore. Like I used to have a racing wheel, everything, and sit there and just play the hell out of Gran Turismo on the PlayStation 2. Like that was my jam, and I used to play the hell out of that game. And then I just stopped. I messed around a bit with Forza on the Xbox 360, and it's just like there's just certain genres I can't really do anymore.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. That like I don't play on multiplayer that much, but this is the time I tried multiplayer, and it's nice. But I feel like, especially if you do this, Fonz, you have to play everything. And multiplayer or genres you're not excited about, why would you devote time onto that? People
exactly. There's so much out there to play, right, for everybody, and it's like. This year especially has been so good for me anyway, because I've had Hogwarts, I've had Wolong.
Oh yeah,
you know, I mean, and those two games alone were huge for me. Jedi Survivor is great, but it has issues. So when that is finalized, you know, I'm going to have a great time with that, finishing that. And now Diablo 4. And we still have Starfield to come.
We're not even halfway through the year, and Fonz just listed all that stuff.
And we've got Final Fantasy 16 for us that are excited about that. I'm excited about that. So I'll be picking that up.
It's a year that you're gonna have to make choices. That's the hard thing. Is that like I hear Gaz just spent basically $120 to get Diablo and Street Fighter the same week, and I'm like, dude. It's that's so much American
deal. We're lucky.
It's the same reason why.
Awesome, but
it's kind of the same reason why I stopped playing Destiny. You know, because I was huge into Destiny, and I put thousands of hours into both those games. And I was playing on 2 accounts before the crossplay thing, so I had. You know, I mean, I was playing literally like all the time I had to spare was Destiny. And then I just got tired of doing that. I was like, you know what? I have no time to play all these other great games out there. And so much is passing me up, and I'm like, not even interested. And I'm like, well, let me put a pause to that. Like, so I did. And now I don't want to go back.
Same. I'm a multiplayer head. I can't go back, and it's so much fun. This year alone is ridiculous. I think when people say, like it's equivalent to whatever the 2016 or 29, whatever the year we say, BioShock came out and Mass Effect came out, or 1996 where Ocarina of Time came out at the same time as freaking Metal Gear, whatever. There's a lot there, so it's very exciting times as gamers playing these games, and we're still begging for more. Show us more.
I look forward to delays now, man. I look forward to them.
I'm just like,
it depends. It depends on how many times a game is delayed. Come on.
And depends on the game. It depends on the game. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $50 super chat, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, man. Shout out to him, bro. This guy is a G. But I have to do your super chat justice, man. Like, I need to bring it back to when the topic is actually being discussed. You're talking about the Xbox showcase, which we will talk about at the end. But before we do that, like Street Fighter, Asa, you haven't played Street Fighter. Oh, yeah, you did.
I have. I've got Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I'm currently undefeated in Street Fighter 6 online. I will be playing it online on stream over the coming weeks. If anyone dares to challenge me, it's just an open challenge. You can step in, you can challenge me. I don't think that you're going to win, but that's the thing that's happening.
Damn, I didn't know you were that good, Asa.
Destroy him.
I'm really fucking not. I've just not been online yet. I've not played Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2. But the challenge is real. You can come and get me.
The challenge is real.
I was listening to your words carefully because I swear I heard you say online, and then I was like,
that's right.
Did he say? Yeah. So then you say, actually, it wasn't online. I'm like, okay.
I just heard online, and I'm like, wait a minute. Asa, is that good? Yeah.
Well, you played the single player.
Tried it yet. I've played it a little bit before the show, so I've been out most of today. I got back and I played a bit of Street Fighter. I did the story mode as Ryu. I learned like the basics of the systems that are in play, and that's as far as I've got. But I'll probably beat everyone. Like, I'm confident. Don't reckon any of you've got much of a chance.
Wow. Destroy it, please, live on air. He streams it. You can join it.
He made you as a custom character, Gaz. You're the short guy like this, with no muscle. no muscle.
No muscle. At least took away. Damn it, man. I made a chick because I was like, let's play with the custom players, add a little bit of thigh width. I was like, yeah, I could stare at this for a while. I'm sorry. Baby, if you're watching this, don't judge me. No, Street Fighter 6 is good, man. I need to get used to some of the characters. Some bits, like the soundtracks are wicked. I'm just gonna the slower pace. It feels like slower pace. Jury saved it for me, but feels a bit slower pace. But the shout out to some of the mechanics. So you've got, I don't even know the name of these mechanics. You've got the parry button, which you've got an additional bar underneath your health bar, like a blue bar, and
like super or something. Yeah.
Drive parry, and drive parry. Impact are the two. I've done the tutorial.
Yeah, nice. You remember the names. It's really cool. That actually helps. So drive parry is you use some of that bar to parry. If you parry successfully, then you get the bar refilled. And it's a really good evolution of Street Fighter 3's parry system, which was, let's be real, it gave birth to one of the most iconic scenes in gaming. Asa, if you could pull it out, the Street Fighter 3 Ken versus Daigo final championship. You don't have to do it, but it was like that parry. No one's gonna believe me, but I did that something similar with I was playing with my brother, and it was not Chun-Li, it was someone else's move, and instinctively it was an odd sequence. And I did it, and I felt like Ken and Tiger. I was like, why is no one's gonna believe me? I just put up the sickness. There was no crowd screaming for me, but it was just me going, did you say that? I meant to do that.
That's what makes these games awesome, dude. Is moments like that and somebody sees it, and then you both just get to go, ah!
It's on screen right now. This is one of the most, if you haven't seen this, I don't know where you have been. You need to play it with sound. But this is the most iconic gaming moment. One of the most. This guy has no health as Ken. Chun-Li's got, just check it out. We have to, Chun-Li actively super parry.
Yeah.
You jump and parry every single one. The crowd is going crazy. crazy. It was mad. None of these men have slept with a woman, but it doesn't matter. I'm such a dick. But yeah, no, it's such a. I know it's very nerdy, but it's such an epic moment, and this is the kind of moment I really miss. Maybe it's happening in the esports scene. I don't know, because they're playing weird games in esports.
It's happened to that Daigo about 50 times since, like in regular online play. He's just cursed.
yeah, he gets smoked with that. That's so true. It was such an epic, insane moment in gaming, and this kind of game, like it's doubling down on it. Everything is really good. Like you got arcade sticks, you sit there with your avatar. It's hit the fighting vibes so well. So it feels like, replicate.
Love those intros when you have like the actual face off and they're just like walking through like it's this person, this height, this much weight, and they're just like saying hi to the crowd. I'm like, they did a good job making this feel like a spectacle, like instead of just loading in and then fighting. The overall presentation of this game, they really wanted to make it feel like this is quote unquote Street Fighter. This is an event, this is a world that people love this kind of stuff and they live for it. And here's the stars walking onto the stage. They did. Capcom did great with this game.
They did a great job. I can tell that already. It's like some bits I don't like. The open world tour stuff is just so weird. It's like, talk to them. These two guys here wearing boxes on their head. Or it's a lot of it's very forced messaging as well. It's like, you need to be like hard and strong. It feels like a little like training young kids to be helpful. It was weird. Like, go to the shop, consumerism, buy these pink hats, and it's like, hey, I can't even buy any other hats. And it's just like, you bought hats.
Are you talking about the Battle Hub or World Tour?
Yeah, World Tour. It's like it says grind, so you can buy more things, kids. Consumer capitalism. This is where we are.
Yeah.
It was just like.
But I will say, because somebody was in the chat earlier saying like, you should. I think you guys should take the single player more seriously. And I'm like, here's the thing. As somebody that has put over 500 hours into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm going to tell you right now, like, not a fifth of that, not even maybe a sixth of that was in World of Light, aka its single player mode. Fighting games are defined by the experience of like the multiplayer, the moments like Evo or whatever that like the one that Gaz brought up. It's defined by the players fighting each other or you going against challenges. And the single player stuff, it's great if it's great, but it's not the part that defines if the game is great. And overall, the game nailed it, and that's why it's getting like 8 and 9s out of 10s instead of 10 out of 10s. But that's still a great score, and the overall package. Street Fighter's back, baby.
It is back. It's back in a big way, and we still got 2 fighters coming out this year, and none other than Tekken and Mortal Kombat. Tekken 8. Tekken 9. Tekken 8?
Tekken's not confirmed for this year, but if it comes out this year, holy shit. I haven't seen that anywhere.
It is confirmed for this year. It's confirmed for this year, bro.
I believe it is, with the amount of like character trailers they're rolling out and how consistently they are. I believe they are, but there hasn't been a release window put up for it yet.
Oh wait, Tekken 8 is next year?
It says maybe later half of this year or early 2024.
Yeah, there's not like an official window.
So that's definitely 2024. If they're saying that.
Even if they said it's late this year, if
dude, I wouldn't if I was them, man. Like, but the spectacle part, the spectacle part would be amazing.
Yeah,
but strictly speaking, business, like no. Don't put it out the same year. The Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. No. We don't want to do that.
Makes sense.
The guy in the background. But it would be pretty cool.
No, bro. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken, the 3 big greats fighting on stage.
Dude, wild.
I know which one.
Everybody tunes out of the Game Awards. Like, we already know, but Tears of the Kingdom's going to get it. I'm just waiting for that fighting game category.
Again, Gaz, what you said, you know which one you would, of the 3, which is the one? Oh, for the single player. Yeah. No, but out of the 3, I'll say this now, though. After playing Street Fighter 6, I don't know which one I'll spend more time on competitively, because it's so well, from my early indication, netcode is such a big thing. It's playing someone from the US, and it still didn't feel like bad at all. It was really good. Connection bars there, all the data's there. But
the thing is, though, there's everything for everyone. Tekken, you just play Tekken 4 because it's Tekken and it's different combo style fighting and it's just really good and it's got its own story. Mortal Kombat has got the best story, but it's ultra violent fatality. Maybe not like as tight competitively as Street Fighter, but still great. So, and Tekken has a very strong esports presence, huge. Like the one time I've actually watched esports was when I was watching what's his name, the guy who won Thingy Evo twice, guy from Pakistan. It was crazy. Like, so there's so much here. Like, we can pit them against each other, but they have their own identity, and it's proven because it's Tekken 8, it's Street Fighter 6, it's freaking Mortal Kombat actually 12, but really calling it 1. There's a lot there. So we were pretty spoiled. But it's a great year for gaming, man. Like we will talk about this year, people, like we do about the 96 and the year, 20. Was it 16? We talked about this last week.
2007, I think, was a crazy one too. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like, there's a lot there. So play that game, check it out. Shout out to Cole is the reason I actually managed to get. I was gonna buy it day one anyway. I was just gonna download it. I played loads of Diablo. So look, now I'm gonna play Street Fighter, especially before the show. And I'm just playing it. That's why I was late. Jury is the one. Spartan Ghost 17. Thank you with the £15 super chat. Having a thrash/non-existent single player for a fighting game is unacceptable in 2023. Also, World Tour is trash. Just wait for Tekken and Mortal Kombat 1. If you are playing for the single player mode, then I would say yeah. But if you're playing it for the fighting model, the netcode, and you like Street Fighter, definitely buy this game.
It's like a difficult one because that is a fair point. Like, not all games need to be for all people, but at the same time, you get the impression that Capcom did invest a fair amount of resource into doing this World Tour mode. I've not got into it. I've not even made a character because I don't really care about the World Tour mode myself. But if it is a swing and a miss, then it's fair to call it out. It doesn't mean that the whole game's bad, because some people will purely buy a game like Street Fighter to play it online and do the competitive shit, and that's is what it is. Right?
That's fine. Absolutely, I do agree with you, Spartan Ghost.
And none of them can beat me.
Yeah. Good luck. Live, remember, live asa_GameOnDaily. Beat the shit out of him, please. I might join in and just hammer the nail into the coffin. But yeah, so that's Diablo and Street Fighter 6. Both great games, whether you like them or not. They have their own audience. They're doing really, really well, and it's good to see. It's really good to see. Very diverse, different types of games, but there's sequelitis. We love our sequels, eh? But when they're done right, they're done like this, they compound all the benefits of nostalgia, keeping it fresh. And this is the thing you have to rate all these developers for. Street Fighter 6, the 6th iteration of a classic franchise, and they still managed, and this is what I was talking about before I got distracted, Drive Impact and Drive Parry. Mechanically great additions that actually realized some of the old mechanics of the older games, and then really perfected that formula, and it's really potent now. Street Fighter 6. I mean, I loved 4. I thought was okay. I'm not a big fan of 4. I played it a bit, but after Street Fighter 3 and Turbo HD Remix, I was like, this is a bit too slow for me. Street Fighter 5 I didn't play because on PlayStation. I could have played it, but I spent most of my time either PC or an Xbox. Now playing it feels like honed in, feels like it's refined. So it's really good. And same with Diablo. I'm new here, so there's a lot there. Anyway, talking shit, just to round up those two great topics, and focus on the games, not just on all the media furore and warring that I do. Try to bring some balance here. Now back to console wars. Ratchet and Clank runs on PC. Fuck ponies, PC. Cancelled every goodwill I had. that last one. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is now announced, coming to PC. That Nvidia leak. That's turning out to be fully legit. Ratchet and Clank coming out to PC. Obviously, I was going to be a piece of shit and say, well, hold on a minute, people. What's going on? I thought you needed the magical SSDs, yeah? Obviously, there's more to it than that. The reason why I was bringing that up is because some people were thinking the SSD was a gift of God. But this game is coming to PC. Again, wait, this is very special because this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive game only. It wasn't on PS4. This is a current gen game that wowed everyone. And you may say 2 or 3 years, but it doesn't seem like this is a big game to come to PC, so we shouldn't downplay it. It's going to be the definitive version of this game if you've got a PC that can handle it definitively. But Asa, tell us before you rebuke me for my console warring. This is a pretty big deal. What's your thoughts on this and the whole SSD talk? Add some sense into it.
I was not actually going to rebuke you for your console warring. I know you love it and have a good time with that. We're like on good terms with the console warring. I just don't do it myself, you know. The Ratchet and Clank, I always said when this was like speculated upon when the game came out, this need for the SSD or not, you can always compensate for an SSD by having a buttload of RAM or by heavily reducing the amount of data that you need to stick into RAM, right? So Ratchet and Clank, we don't know, they haven't said the requirements yet. They might come out and say you need an SSD if you want to play it on the PC, or they might say you need like 32 gig of RAM in your PC or something like that, which would totally mitigate the need for an SSD. And that's reasonable. Like, that doesn't make them sinister or evil for talking up the power of the PlayStation 5 or whatever when they release this thing. You can also, like, the main thing that Ratchet and Clank does that uses that SSD, the biggest challenge is that level where you're hitting the crystals. So you play Ratchet and Clank and it's got these crystals, and if you hit them, it loads up an entire like alternate version of that level. But if you were to like strip the textures away from that, then suddenly it's not even half the amount of data. So if you go into low settings and you strip a load of textures away, it's kind of a different experience in a different game. It's quite possible that they're doing something like that. So I don't particularly expect that the PC version will require an SSD, but it will either require a lot of memory or a lot of people are going to be running on like low settings, which is fine. As for like being the definitive edition, yeah, they've added some features. Nixis are doing the port, so people that are saying like it might be like The Last of Us, it might be a disaster port, you might have like textures missing from faces and all the rest of it. Nixis ports so far have been top quality, very, very good. So I'd expect Ratchet and Clank on the PC to run very well across like a range of hardware, and it is a good game. It's not like PlayStation's best game or anything, but it is a good game. The most disappointing thing about Ratchet and Clank was that it was like 70 quid, whereas the prior Ratchet and Clank game was 35. So it's only kind of repositioned the price of that IP, but good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to 560 of you watching. Smash that like button. As I said, that dropped down to 2 views. From 2 views. Yeah, look, that game is fine. I understand that. I agree with you. The RAM, I'm not the technical body, but come on, keep PG. The magical SSD, it's not possible even on PC. People weren't hearing it. I'm trying to remind people. Back then, the SSD was the singular tool that could do everything. There wasn't talk about RAM compensating for the SSD shit. Asa was saying that. So I will be a piece of ass. And if it doesn't have an SSD requirement. If it does, I'm just going to recede into the shadows. But what's your take on it? You played this game. You said play this game. I've got this game. I kind of got bored of it very quickly.
Oh. All right, so Gaz is going to leave the show. Okay, just really quick. No, Asa put everything verbatim. Sorry, he did. That I know exactly what level he's talking about, and that's really the biggest feat of that SSD. There's a level that you hit this crystal that it completely changes the world in like a second, which is insane. Still the same level, but it's like a totally different version of it.
Like Titanfall,
and that is
2?
Yes, that's a perfect example. Yeah. So, and if you played the game, you know what we're talking about. No spoilers. That is one of the coolest levels of all time. But yeah, like Ratchet and Clank ripped apart, simulated that. But yeah, that's a good point. If Titanfall 2 did it, then why not Ratchet and Clank?
Level, but yeah,
it was a different level. But that's a good example of what's possible. Level, what's possible on HDD drives. But yeah, I don't. To me, the more interesting thing about this is just one. Yes, I love this game. Gaz teased that it was I had my game of the year last year, which was Elden Ring, and then I had my game of the year that didn't release in 2022. It was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I adore that freaking game. So if you haven't played it because you don't have a PlayStation, play it. If you're not into the cartoony mascot IPs, then skip it. But now people have this opportunity to play it. And to me, the whole, if you want to get into the console war business, it's I don't care too much about the tech side of it. I think they just figured out a way, whatever, blah blah blah. But this is PlayStation following that strategy that they said, or they recently said, which is like, yeah, a year later, we're going to add them to our subscriptions. And then 2 years later, we'll add it to PC. And funny enough, this game is coming out in July, which is just about.
Bro. Well, it didn't sell that
years
much,
later.
But
it's still decent. Yeah. But but we're seeing that strategy happen. We're seeing more and more PlayStation games coming. I think Miles Morales recently, or I think it was last year, maybe it came over or something. But PlayStation's following up that strategy, man, of just, if you wait a year, play on our subscriptions. If you wait 2 years and you have a PC and you don't have a PlayStation, you have to wait 2 years. If you want to play it first, then you have to play it on PlayStation.
That's true. I think it sounds marketing strategy. But this delayed thing to maintain your console was not good for gamers, I guess, but still great from PlayStation. But Fonz, do you even give a shit about Ratchet and Clank? Are you like me?
No, I don't. But I will say this. People wouldn't be talking about this or using it as console war fodder if Sony themselves didn't say things sometimes that come out later to be totally false, and that is the issue. I mean, we've heard things in the past like, oh, they couldn't, have certain mechanics in Horizon Zero Dawn because of the PlayStation 4. And then, they had those mechanics on the PlayStation 4 in the next Horizon game. And it's just like, okay, I thought you couldn't do that, but they did it.
There's a lot of that.
And then they'll say, Miles Morales was built from the ground up completely for the PlayStation 5. Well, hey, the game looks very similar on the PlayStation 4 as well. Like there's certain aspects, yes, you didn't have the ray tracing in there or whatever, but come on, it's the same game.
Mechanically,
you can put the game on there. Yeah. And I wouldn't doubt if they say, all you need is 16 gigs of RAM and they don't require an SSD. And if they do that,
I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting that. And then we make another Source video.
I'm just saying, it's like, that's the problem with both companies, Xbox as well, is their messaging. Sometimes they just put their foot in their mouth, and it's better not to say anything at all. Just don't exaggerate on this stuff or overemphasize things and make it sound like, oh my God, it can only be done on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. I think the SSD thing is very tiny. It's going to be a very tiny core group of ingrained console warriors that will actually make a big deal out of it. I don't think.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I could give two. I couldn't give two shits about it. Like I do not care about Ratchet. I was expecting Ghost of Tsushima to be the one that was being pushed into PC because that's what a lot of people were speculating first. And
isn't that on the NVIDIA list, actually? That's a good point. I think
it's funny because I was like, I thought that was already ported, but I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't the NVIDIA leak. I think it might be coming, just different priorities.
For Ghost of Tsushima, I'd assume that the reason it hasn't already come out is that they are timing it to build up hype for Ghost of Tsushima 2 for the PlayStation 5. I suspect there is a logic and a rhyme and a reason to their timing for their releases.
That makes sense, That does make sense. We always assume that it has to follow this chronological order, but it's not. It doesn't. No, that's wicked. Okay, well, look. If a lot of people are thinking that they should move on to PC, if you want the definitive bells and whistles, more day by day, become a PC gamer if that's what you want. I
think PlayStation, I think they need to cut the crap and just put their shit on their day and date on PC. They'd make more money. It'd be better for their business. And no, it doesn't, belittle your console or make it seem like it's irrelevant. Like console gamers are going to play on their consoles. Like a lot of times these days, look, you see some people migrating over to PC, but there are a lot of console guys like myself that will never do that. I like my console games. I'm staying on console. I'm not moving over to the PC. So even if they put it on PC, it doesn't bother me at all just because somebody over there on another platform gets to play the same game as me. That's never bothered me. I don't get that whole thing. I have to
say on that though, like I think as soon as data conclusively supports that, as soon as there's no doubt about how much money they'll be making, if they can see that they'll make more money with day one PC releases, it will happen in an instant. It'll be like there's more money there.
Thank you.
Data supports it.
That's
at the moment, I'm
well,
assuming that there must be a reason that they're not doing it, right?
There must be, but at the same time, it's like, you know, man, I don't know, because at one point they were saying they would never put their games on PC, right? Now it's down to a year. Like, come on, it's getting closer and closer.
They are going as far as they can with this. And a lot of people they don't sell on PC anyway. Well, if they didn't sell, they wouldn't be doing this, man.
I just don't follow along with the plastic worship. Like, for me, it's about the game. And if the game is so good, I would like more gamers to experience that game. Like,
I get that. As a gamer, I completely, there's no real argument. Other than, I will say a couple of advantages that I think that, I know every development for every game is different. I like Sony's strategy more because I have confidence that they're at least focusing by default primarily on the hardware, so I don't have to worry about less bugs. Like it depends. Like they will probably have to start building from PC now from the ground up anyway, but it feels like that singular focus on one piece of hardware,
I see what you're saying in that regard. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, because they're focusing on the PlayStation itself. But who knows how that is going to change going forward, especially with their gas games, let's say.
I also think they get to double dip a lot as well. If they do that, I think PC gamers really can't wait for we can't wait for months or weeks, let alone years. So like impatient PC guys will always say like, okay, if I'm going to build a PC, I'll need one supplementary console. Take out Switch because that's its own thing. I think it would make sense that there will be I can't give you numbers, but I think there'll be a sizable number of people who would buy a PlayStation. I like that PlayStation strategy as a marketing strategy. As a gamer, other than the whole narrative that whether or not it's true or not, about the hardware being prioritized and I get the best quality out of that, I think that is a factor.
Yeah.
Generally, it's shit. PlayStation, Xbox's strategy is way better, and the way it works so seamlessly. A save goes from Xbox to PC. I don't play in PC much, but when I was doing it, it was instantaneous. I was like, this is amazing. So you know, the different strategies. I'm not going to shit on Sony for theirs, but
no, I'm not shitting on it. It's just my opinion. Like when I look at the situation, the way I view the gaming industry and everything, and the community at large, it's like, you guys fight over the stupidest shit sometimes, and I'm like, why? Like, who cares if somebody else gets to play a game you really love? I think that's a good thing to share that. And it's like, no, they must buy my plastic that I adore. It's like,
that's a bit simple-minded thinking. No. Just on basis alone is lame. I mean, saw what happened with that crap gamer guy. His downfall on that notion. JD Gamer, the $5 super chat. Sony's using data, but the data they're using is based on movies. So PlayStation is trying to create 3 distinct marketing beats that all feed in more revenue. Well, how can there be a similitude to movies in terms of the data? What does he mean by that, Asa?
He's just talking like in terms of the way that movies have like a box office as the equivalent of a retail game and things like that. So Sony obviously have a lot of experience in other media and how to sell things as well as support streaming services and all the rest of it. I will say, when I talk about data supporting Sony's decision and that they will flip in a heartbeat when the data supports it, we'll also say that like you said, for us though, like the perspective that we care about is our own as people playing games, and for us, by and large, I want games everywhere for everyone. That's better for everyone. Gaz, you actually touched on the most important like con of the Microsoft strategy is that they do develop everything for everything, so they will never laser focus anything onto the Xbox Series console. But like other people have alluded to, we don't know how long Sony are going to do that, because now that they are building these games with PC in mind, it would be like business smart to build them with PC in mind. And then the console players are losing out on that advantage regardless. And I don't like at the moment, it looks like Sony, if you go by what they say publicly, then they are still doing the build for console and let Nixxes deal with it. And so long as they are doing that and they're genuine with that, then there is a small like player-based advantage to what they're doing. But as soon as that goes away, like everywhere is better for us outright.
You're 100% correct on that, Asa. I applaud you for saying that, because when you look at both companies, I'm talking Xbox, PlayStation here, and you're looking at the quality of games, usually PlayStation 5 really don't miss when it comes to the quality of their big AAA banger. You know what I'm saying? Like Horizon, you could say what you will about the game if you don't like it. Like myself, I find it boring, but it is a beautifully made game. It's gorgeous, and everything just works within. It's really a beautiful, stunning looking game, and you don't get that level on, say, the Series X with anything, because there's not that hyper focus on that console. So I get what you're saying there, and I wish that they could somehow really pull more out of that box, because there's more to be had there for the Series X for sure.
Like there's a couple of particular features that the Xbox fans love to talk about: velocity architecture and mesh shaders. And you know full well that Xbox are never going to develop a game that is based on these technologies until they're commonplace across the PC ecosystem as well. And that's just like, it's just a trade-off that you have to accept to go along with the pros of their strategy as well.
See, that's a massive point there. PlayStation wouldn't have that problem necessarily. They'll have to think about how they'll tackle that. Yeah. But they have the what's it called? They have I call it like, it's not a blessing, but they have the choice to not even release the game at all on PC. Some games will be suited for that. You know, I can see very specific single player type games that may not necessarily do well on PC that you say, hey, we can.
It's like it is a tiny majority. So in terms of games that are laser focused on a console, you're talking about like 0.1% of games in general. Anyway, most games are built broadly and they scale, and it's brilliant, and that's the world that we live in today. So talking like real stuff on the periphery and on the fringes, but for PlayStation first
people
like us that follow the industry, people are obsessed with first party. So yeah, it's applicable in that sense.
Yeah, it's true. Face 23 Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Matt, for the $20 super checkout. He goes, I don't see why don't Rockstar Games put GTA on PC day one. That's actually a good point. GTA also install it, although I think it's because of the honing in, making sure the console versions are right. No?
That's definitely what they say. So Take-Two are not like the least greedy of publishers out there. They're not Activision level bastards, but there are like multiple angles in terms of how they develop and deliver things, but they do. They say so. It's Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, but we know that that Rockstar are like an exception to the rule in the way that they make games, because they make games at a very slow pace, and they make freaking phenomenal masterpieces of technology and all the rest of it. So I wouldn't put them in a basket with other developers and publishers anyway.
I will say, can just back in the day. Do you guys just basically think that the PC market is so much more mainstream than it was like 10 years ago?
Yes.
You know, I think that's a big part of this. You know, because back in the day, everybody would still, they would brag about it, you know, like, oh, I got my DP, whatever.
Yeah.
But us, like kids and console or teenage, adult, whatever, like people are just like, yeah, but this box just works for me. But nowadays, I think technology and people are getting smarter that just more and more people have PCs. And now, you know, maybe that's a factor with Rockstar. I remember a lot of publishers didn't think to do that, but now they do.
Going to different brick and mortar stores and seeing, you know, the countless console games on the walls, all the consoles, and then a little tiny space for PC games. Little tiny space, because it was very, you know, it was kind of like the niche thing. You know, everybody that's a gamer plays on these consoles. You know, your Nintendos, your Segas. No, that PC was in a little corner. You know, you had a few games there.
But now, man, the balance has changed. I'm seeing so many people really moving in, younger crowd especially, because they like those diverse set of games. They get the freedom with technology-wise in terms of streaming. If you want to make all the effects and stuff, they're enticed by that. So there's a streaming element of it that on console you don't get that experience, so you need a PC. So generationally, we are moving towards PC. Even like core gamers like us, like it suits us as well, because you get the uncompromised. If you can spend the money on a beast of a PC, which I'm half tempted to do. The only reason I'm not doing it is because I just like the console gaming now. But I can see why.
Why is that though? Why do you prefer?
But for me, like this one of the reasons may sound a bit silly, but for me, when I'm coming out of stressed a day at work, I just want to sit down, turn on the controller, and look at the TV. Me booting up the PC and just like an extension of me spending 10 hours facing the same kind of monitor.
Really? Because a lot of people will tell me
exactly why I don't do it either.
Yeah, a lot of people say the same thing to me, though. They'll reply with, well, I've got my PC hooked up to my TV, or I've got it right there. I've got a great chair I sit in.
But it's still different.
Yeah.
It's just
I still
UI
think there's an added level of
different.
convenience, regardless of what they tell me. There's still that little bit of convenience with a console over PC.
Yeah.
So I tried to play on PC recently. I tried to play The Witcher 2 to have a look at it. And in order to get The Witcher 2 to work on my current PC, you can get it on Xbox, you download it, you fire it up, you play it, and you're there, you're in The Witcher 2. You get it on PC, you fire it up, it crashes. You go onto like Google and you look it up and it's like, oh, you're going to need to disable like 16 of the cores on your processor, and then maybe it will work for you. And it's like, no, PC gaming is wonderful, and it is never going to be as simple as console. It just isn't.
Yeah, it just isn't. It's just that ease of use. Everything is fast. It's just simple. Even the mental thing. I just don't want to be sitting there.
I saw Zucker in the chat. I wanted him to chime in there and said, "Never happened to me, bud." That's usually what he tells me. I never have those problems. I don't know what you're doing wrong, Colt.
Zucker, you piece of shit. By the way, Sipping Gaming, thank you for the $10 super chat. I will read yours again at the end as well about the showcase, but with the $5 super chat, he asked, I thought Returnal was pretty good. I think the studio has a lot of potential. What did you guys think of Returnal? What's the studio called?
Housemarque.
Housemarque, yes.
Yeah, I think they're madly talented. I think I've only Resogun I platinumed because I just love that game.
I've seen a lot of that
Returnal.
game. I've watched a lot of Returnal. I think it looks great. It feels great, like the ambience and everything. It's my bag. Like, I love that sci-fi genre, right? But I will not play it only because it's a roguelike. I don't like those.
Yeah.
I don't like those. Now, if that was like a single player game where you're going through a story and everything, and you weren't replaying shit over and over, I would probably play that game. Oh, I would play that game, but roguelikes.
I recommend
not for me.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's like Returnal Light. The mechanics are kind of similar.
Yeah.
You meant to say Hades.
No, Hades is a brilliant roguelike. If you want to get into roguelikes,
roguelike.
Hades is phenomenal. But it's genuinely the only roguelike that I enjoy is Hades.
That was the only one I enjoyed. You're right.
Oh, you played it?
I played a bunch of Hades, but after a while, I got sick of playing the same level over and over, dying and going back. I was like, okay, I'm done. Okay. But no, it was the furthest I've ever gotten in a roguelike. It was the most enjoyable for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
That game actually opened my eyes to roguelites. Brilliant game. So Spartan Go 17 with a £5 super chat. I disagree because casual gamers will always stay on console because it just works. A good PC is
most will. He's right. Most will.
Yeah,
that's the same audience that's like susceptible to cloud gaming, right? It just works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a very even tinier niche.
There's definitely there's some overlap there, though, right?
Well, there is some overlap. Definitely.
For sure.
There is. A good PC, he says, is about $2,000. Most parents don't have that money. That's a good point,
That's a big
actually.
factor. That's what I was talking to people about.
But parents will also like, well, we need a PC. And that's how the kids are like for work, because you need a PC for at home.
Yeah, with a 4090, Mom, we need that for your spreadsheets. We need that.
One thing you guys aren't considering is, look, a lot of the parents are our age. They are gamers generationally. We have to understand a big generation of gamers have grown
like
up
myself.
to be the parents.
I've raised 8 kids.
Yep.
I've raised 8 kids myself. Some are gone and out of the house and became PC gamers, and I never taught them that in my house. Never. We were console gamers. But no, they grew up. They grew up.
Mad. But yeah, absolutely. Look, you did it, but it's a parent like you is more inclined to PC.
But what you say is 100% right, because my 18-year-old son, last year when he was 17, he was asking me for a PC, and I go, do you know how much they are right now?
Yeah.
Freaking insane.
Yeah.
And
Can I get you a new console instead?
Then he goes, I'll take a Steam Deck. Got him a Steam Deck. He loves it. He loves it. But he also loves his consoles as well. He has everything. He plays on everything.
Yeah.
And he literally plays for everything from the Switch to the PlayStation to the Nintendo to freaking Xbox to the Steam Deck. He plays everything.
What does he think of you in this YouTube space? Does he watch your stuff? Does he like it?
He probably would cringe. I don't know. He doesn't care. He doesn't watch. He doesn't pay attention.
Same with my family. They don't give a shit.
They don't care. They don't care.
My children are banned from watching our channel because of Gaz.
Are you serious? Probably good. Probably smart. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, don't let them watch the channel. Oh my god.
I think, not to move us forward, but I do think there's the other topic that kind of helps wrap up the PC idea.
The other topic, Final Fantasy. Look, this is a good host, not me. Final Fantasy 16.
Hey, I had Colt on my channel yesterday, man. I was getting ready for this, but I'm like, wait, I'm a guest tomorrow.
Yeah, shout out to Colt as well. I don't know where he is, but yeah, look, on PC apparently could have saved Final Fantasy. So this is coming from Imran Khan, who is a journalist at I don't know where, but he's quite popular. I'm not saying that he's nowhere, but here is the reporting he's hearing that pre-order numbers for Final Fantasy 16 are really low, tracking lower than expectations. And you know what Square Enix are like? They'll be very quick to make a public statement about, our developers failed us. And so can you imagine if this is happening? Now console warriors are doubling down on this and saying,
let me ask you a question though about this though. Do you feel like in this day and age, especially with so many games on the PlayStation and Xbox and PC even coming out broken, buggy, all this stuff, that people are just getting wiser about pre-ordering games? Because that's where I stand. I stopped doing that a couple of years back. I don't pre-order games because I wait for the reviews. I want to see what they're like, you know?
Yeah,
I think that plays a part, and I think that's leaked into the casual market as well. I think they're like a wait and see type thing.
I think so.
I don't know.
I think so too as well. I think that I think we put so much emphasis on this may have low pre-order numbers, but I'll be shocked if it tracks below sales. I'm expecting it to sell mad. I haven't pre-ordered it. I'll be playing this day
I'll
one.
be there day one.
Same.
Right, is there a pre-order incentive for this game? I don't like pre-order incentives, but what do you get for pre-ordering Final Fantasy 16? No, like early access, no digital, like fancy hat or whatever. There's probably something like publishers still like pre-orders, and it's still an important metric for them, and that's why we get.
Well,
essentially
maybe that's a part of the point. He says that like none of us know what the pre-order bonus is, and maybe that's part of it. You know, whether there is or isn't, we don't know, and they didn't market that very good. So
that's a good point. If someone in chat let us know, there is a. So Shark Clan Gomp, what kind of name is that? Pre-order the $90 version. You get a whole bunch of stuff. I pre-ordered it myself. It wasn't worth it.
Okay, so you get a copy of Final Fantasy 16. Woo, we knew that. A special Clive Rossfield steelbook case. Okay.
That's right.
That all the time. Yeah.
And a cloth map of, you get a cloth map basically of the area.
Pretty much standard stuff you get in these
like special edition stuff though. But what do you get for pre-ordering digitally?
But no. Okay, so this is special. Yeah, these are just the additions. Like, but for the pre-order bonus, like there's nothing popping up here for the bonus.
I don't know what you. It's a single player game, so I wouldn't read too much into it. I expect it fully to sell really well.
I don't know.
It looks good. A lot of people are saying it's because of the combat mode. A lot of people have lost favor with it. I think that's not correct. I don't know.
I'm with you, Ace. Pre-order bonuses need to die. It's just so stupid.
Repulsive. You offer me a special hat or a cape or something, like, fuck off.
100%. I mean, even if they gave you something really good, it's fucked, because what if they send you something? What if they put out a shitty ass game and you bought it because you wanted that, piece of plastic that they were sending with it?
Been there, done it. Same things happened. Absolutely.
At the same time, though, like when they talk about the numbers tracking below what they're looking for, they are talking about tracking relative to like the data points to be other games that have released. So it being below below a certain point, it's not like a completely irrelevant metric. Like, if it's true, obviously it's just like based on rumors and whatever.
Is it their metric though? What is this
Square
based
Enix
on?
metric?
Because it's Square Enix, right?
Copies.
If they don't have pre-order sales in the let's say tens of millions, it's not good. It's what was it? They had some games that came out and sold like 8 million copies, and they said that wasn't good enough. And I'm like,
it got into the galaxy, bro.
That's decent. That's good.
So my question though, and the reason I was kind of bringing this up when we're talking about the PC stuff, is the last actual big Final Fantasy was the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I'm sure sold fantastically, but that's also based off of like one of the most iconic games of all time.
Exactly.
But the one before that was 15, which that was across everything. I don't remember if it launched on PC, but it was an Xbox and PlayStation launch. So it's almost wondering, okay, so this is finally a game from the Final Fantasy franchise that isn't based off of that one, and we're doing that, also releasing it as a PlayStation, not just a PlayStation exclusive, but a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So I wonder like what they expected with that, and would it have been on PC or would it have been on Xbox? Is that what would have closed that gap?
Yeah.
And if that would have been the numbers, then that's
a great
you made the exclusivity deal. So
yeah, what were the expectations and how would you even form them based on the fact that you've restricted it to a new current gen console only?
Pre-order tracking is currently below Forspoken.
Oh,
then you need to be worried.
If that's true, that's actually kind of
that is worrisome.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
No, he's joking.
Oh, okay. I said earlier I'm the gullible one.
I believed him too. Ace is too good at that shit.
No chat, Sappho, he's not.
I think it's just Asa. Asa can't say anything because I feel like everything Asa says is fact.
Yeah, you're all listening to him and he's just there preaching the gospel, and then you're like, okay, I believe everything he's saying, and then no, you guys are foolish.
It's gonna be like, so did you guys see if there's an actual Superman now? And it'll be like, there is.
There is. Phase 23, Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for the $2 super chat. There's 38 million PS5s in the world.
There's plenty of PS5s out there. Totally, there is.
Yeah.
But just it's still. It just if there's 38 million PS5s, there's like 100 million total other consoles. So
so there's no excuse.
But there was over 100 million PS4s when they had games coming out that didn't, that didn't sell.
Yep. Yeah. And that is what the 7 remake released on too. 7 remake, even though again that's based off of one of the games of all time. But that was also releasing on the tail end.
Because I mean,
didn't
they even have like a 2% adoption rate to their, people, that people would buy
exclusives and
exclusives.
It's much lower. It's much lower than console wars like to say. But
I know, and this game is essentially exclusive right now, and that's the that's the problem.
It is.
It's exclusive. It's
pressure on PlayStation guys. Support your you always say you back up with cash. So let's see. Day one, I want to see loads of sales. I'm sure it will be. I'm not saying it won't, but you should expect that too. If you bark matches your bite. Detective Seeds with a $20 super chat. Square will drop a Final Fantasy demo at Summer Games Fest. Very likely. And then pre-orders will likely bump. Yep. Yoshi said it was coming to start of June timeframe. Oh, we even actually said it. All right, well.
Okay.
I've been hearing something similar. Yeah.
And absolutely, I think the pre-order numbers will jump, which will do the opposite of what Forspoken did for Square Enix. Whoever played it, I'm like, fuck, no, I'm not playing this game. That was there. I was defending Forspoken, and it turned out to be ass. Oh, do you see a clip of Colin Moriarty there? This week he was saying, I'm really surprised. A lot of people say this game is shit, but it's not. And why is that the case? Okay. I don't know. I haven't played it. I played the demo. I thought it was terrible, but if the game starts,
the demo itself was very bad in my opinion. I did not like any of it. I was like standing around and the enemies weren't really even attacking me much. It was like I put it on the hardest difficulty, thinking, okay, now they're going to attack me. Now I'm going to feel it. No, they just had higher HP.
Oh, you changed it? Oh, shit.
That's all. And I was sitting there playing the game or the demo, and I said, yeah, I don't like the look of this. I don't like the feel. I'm not into it.
Look good. Yeah.
I had to stop playing.
It's very different. This one will. So, I'm confident.
And I was looking forward to it when it was Project Athia, and they were showing us all those.
Oh, Project Athia looked completely different. Go watch that gameplay trailer and look at Forspoken. This looks so shit in comparison. Yeah. So that's the thing. They all lied to us, and that's why I don't.
They all do it.
That's why I don't like. We'll talk about Fable as well in a bit. But Arkane Austin, like I missed a bit of this because this was making big news whilst I was getting murked at work. Arkane Austin. It turned out, I think Bloomberg revealed it that they actually wanted to cancel Redfall. I'm sure there's more to it.
There was a few developers there that wanted Microsoft to cancel it.
It's so bad. The developers internally wanted, like, we just don't want to release this.
Well, so the full story, just for anybody that doesn't know, because I was reading through the article, I don't like to take the grubs and everything too credibly sometimes, but I do admit I dig Jason Schreier sometimes. But in this case, what basically Schreier found out is, or what he's hearing from 12 devs there, so 12 former devs there, is that Redfall was part of the ZeniMax kind of wanting to make them seem appealing to being acquired. Like back in the day before Microsoft bought them, they wanted to be acquired and they wanted to seem a bit more enticing to people. So they tried to launch a few games as a service things, i.e. Fallout 76 and i.e. Redfall. And
you think they were gearing up to being purchased as well?
They were wanting to seem a bit more either appetizing to people that might buy them, or if they just don't get bought, it'll make them money. Yeah. So Redfall is like part of that phase that they were doing that back in 2018. And then 2 years later, they get announced to be bought. So there you go. But yeah, and Arkane wasn't into the idea because they're so into making single player games, and a couple years into development or just, leading up to the 2 years later or whatever, they were just like, we really don't want this to be a multiplayer or games as a service or anything. So please don't make us do this. And then Bethesda was like, no, we want you to do it. So a lot, like apparently 70% of the staff at Arkane Austin left. And after Microsoft bought them, they were really hoping that like Microsoft would cancel the project or let them do it the way that they wanted to do it originally. But because Microsoft has that, Phil Spencer said, we have that hands-off approach. We don't want to interfere with what our studios are doing and what our new publishers are doing. So they let Bethesda do their thing. And Bethesda had the intention for Redfall being what it was. And
I'm just going to say it. And that's a problem. Really? That's a huge problem.
I didn't read this article before the week was over. My blood pressure.
But there you go. That's the summary.
That's a problem to me, right? And a lot of people want to say, well, this is all on Arkane Austin. This is all on Bethesda. And I'm like, well, partly it's you got to blame a little bit on Xbox for not looking over things, because in my opinion, like into things exactly. Like, look, this whole hands-off approach clearly doesn't work for every studio. Clearly, and that you have those outliers like the Coalition that's still doing their thing. Obsidian. You have Playground Games, you have hopefully with Playground Games and Fable, but with Forza and Turn 10 and everything, those studios, they can pump out those Forzas and Gears with no problems. But you look at some of the other studios, you're like, maybe you shouldn't be so hands off. Maybe you should have a little input. I'm not saying with maybe the creativity part. I'm not saying maybe tell them how to make their games, but go in there and make sure the games are fucking good and on track.
Yeah, and perform and don't look shit, don't sound shit, don't have bugs, don't have the right kind of gameplay mechanics. Also, quality control. Also, you have all these suite of studios. Very difficult, I know, in practice, but really, you're part of Microsoft Game Studios. Microsoft should be actively seeking to make sure that the cross-network amongst studios. They should have these like networking internally,
kind of like how
data
Bungie
sharing.
did for The Last of Us multiplayer. PlayStation bought Bungie to like be an insight on our new games as a service stuff, and that's how Last of Us multiplayer gets pushed back. That's a good example of that.
Exactly. So what they should be doing is having not just dinners and bringing everyone to these awkward dinners and like having like no one likes each other, but don't have these studios as little islands everywhere and running autonomously. They can let them do that, but also have an incentive for developers to come in and say, hey, look, you guys are good physics people. We just went out and checked, I don't know, 343's next game. They seem to be struggling on this. Like, do you guys want to have a chat? We've got an open channel here. Like, I don't know, have one big Trello board or whatever, one big anything, and everyone's just data sharing, just creating and fostering an organic.
One of the things
Xbox should say to their studios, none of you get dinner, like none of you get paid until you've made a good game, and then we'll see what happens.
No,
that's not what guys are saying.
You know, I got to follow this up because somebody in the chat had made mention of this. You know, because people will bring up the fact that Bethesda is still doing their own thing. You know, even though they're under the umbrella of Xbox, they're running their own companies, right? Oh, okay, that's fine. But you're still underneath Microsoft. They still should be managing you to some degree. They should be looking 100%. Into those projects, no matter what. I guess 100%. I don't like how people are just they point directly at Bethesda and say, it's all their fault. It's all their fault. It's like, whose platform is it on?
Yeah.
Who owns this company? Okay.
Yeah.
They've got
we own you.
And they've got something to do with it. And it's just fix that shit, man. We want quality control to be back with Xbox and really, you know, clamp down on things like that. Bring out some games that are freaking, you know, polished and good.
And just quality control. You know,
so
just
like
quality control. Like, I lost it. Somebody earlier said, I lost the message on who said it, but shout out to you. They were saying like, you know, maybe Microsoft/Xbox was too scared to cancel it, you know? And I've been hearing, I think it was from Ryan McCaffrey at IGN. He had this theory of like, maybe they saw it and just knew. And I think there was actually a tease at this from an actual official Xbox person that just like, what do we do if it's so far gone? Do we reset it? Do we revamp? Do we invest that extra another like $100 million to steer this right? Or do we just acknowledge that this is going to be a loss? And like, it's, you know, we don't know how that, like, there's probably tough calls behind the scenes there. But when they first bought them, they might've had the choice there. I'll keep talking, guys. And and so it's a tough call, man. They might've been scared. They might've been very, maybe they thought of that. Maybe they thought, let's just cancel this, but
yeah, well, what do you think if Microsoft?
Because
I heard that, you know, nobody at Microsoft really looked into this game. So I heard that there wasn't like really anybody honestly overseeing that game at all from Microsoft. So, okay, so let's say they did see it. Let's say they thought it was crap and they decided to cancel. And they canceled Redfall. Okay, you know, they would have got a lot of crap thrown at them for that.
Yeah.
Like, people would have came at them with pitchforks over this, just like they kind of did.
It would have been another report we talked about, you know, just like, oh, Microsoft's shutting down creative studios again.
That said, But that said, wouldn't it be better had they not released Redfall? I mean, in my opinion, it just put a huge black eye on Xbox this year.
Yeah, it did. But I think it's a necessity. I think it needed to happen. I think this was almost inevitable. This was inevitable. With Microsoft growing at the scale it was, so it's funny that it's Arkane Austin of all studios who fumbled in this way, but it serves in Microsoft's better interest in the long term, because when you buy these studios, you have to let these creatives do what they're doing. You need an excuse to get in there. Otherwise, you're going to be looked at as an overlord that just sat there as an absentee landlord. No, the opposite of an absentee landlord.
Because I think some people really downplay the importance of what Redfall was to be. I think a lot of people out there just look at it being as, well, it was in Game Pass. I got to play. It was a great little AA romp for me. I had a good time with it. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. It was in Game Pass. And it's like, no, this was supposed to be their first brand new big AAA IP that was going to put Xbox back on the map. You know, this is what Redfall was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it clearly wasn't. And I just think a lot of people downplay that fact that it was
definitely don't.
Because it was in Game Pass and stuff.
It was marketed the moment they announced it. The CGI, it was the most adverts I've seen from my Xbox were for Redfall for a game, and
that's why it's on Spotify. I was excited, man. I heard Spotify ads for it.
They deserved all the smoke they got for that game.
100%,
all of it,
100%.
All of it, because this was supposed to be their game of the summer. It just wasn't.
Bro, they don't get to skirt from that. That was just...
And that's why I said, even if they canceled it, they'd be fine. Even if they went through all the crap, they did it with Scalebound, and they're still fine. Yes,
I think long term, the outliers happen.
You got the outliers out there still screaming for Scalebound. But what if the game was just as shit as Redfall?
I don't think they should cancel it, bro. Cancel it would be bad. Look, this actually...
It's either way. It was a hard thing either way.
It's either way, but at the same time, I look at it like, man, maybe it was a little worse to release this as your big new IP.
Right silver lining though, like this game is essentially what we learned from that article, a consequence of ZeniMax's direction in 2018, where they went for the gas push.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of us are very skeptical about that. And we saw the consequences of that through other games. We saw Fallout 76. You've got Elder Scrolls Online has been like moderately successful. So that is probably raking in a fair amount of money. But ZeniMax and that direction to push towards gas was essentially the downfall of Redfall. And you see, if you read through that article, it talks about these developers saying that the project directors were outwardly very enthusiastic for it, but it totally lacked direction. They didn't know what they were doing with the games as a service game. They were looking for other examples in the industry space, and generally, like, you get the impression Starfield is a thing, and that's not, as far as we know, got a ton of microtransactions. So ZeniMax have pivoted back onto the righteous path to deliver proper games, and that is under Microsoft stewardship. And this is a silver lining that actually things might be better going forwards. The other concerning part of that article is that Arkane Austin have turned over 70% of their staff since they released Prey.
Wow.
That's a big blow. Yep.
That, I mean, if that's indicative,
70%.
70%. If that's indicative of something going on in any of the other studios that they've acquired, that's like, what have you acquired then? ZeniMax have a lot of IP.
Right.
So there's still some bang for that dollar, but Microsoft can't be buying studios and having the staff exodus. And I don't know if it is indicative of anything going around anywhere else, but 70% is a huge number.
70%. They should have been paying those retention figures as well, Mike Sony did place Bungie, because that is ridiculous.
That was another part of it too. I forgot, is that like Redfall or Arkane, sorry, they were having a really hard time like adding more people to the project or something, I guess. And I don't remember if that was during the Bethesda half of the development or the Microsoft half, but yeah, they kept losing people and they had a hard time filling their missing spots.
Yeah, so. I personally didn't love Prey, but when you played Prey, especially back then compared to what Redfall is today, you're like, wow, night and day difference with quality.
I wonder what
that's a game that felt they accomplished what their vision was. You know, whether you liked it or not, you felt that was a game that was very well finished.
And then they did Deadly, which was also it's mad.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Well, that's from their France team, but yeah, the Austin team, I think their last game was Prey. The Austin team's essentially gutted.
Time ago.
Yeah, they've been working on this since 2018. That's the thing. So
that's sad. That's what we got since 2018. That's what they worked on.
It's as Asa said, man. The very big blow to this is losing all those Arkane Austin peeps. And obviously, the release itself and that's done the PR. But the good news is that, hopefully this was the last game of that gas ZeniMax era. And we'll see
We'll
what
move
happens going
on.
forward.
They have to.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see that again. So it is
Yeah, let's
positive.
move
There are
on.
positives there. It's not just spitting out of like whatever. This also sends a signal. Microsoft gets an excuse to show all its internal studios. Look, we do not want a repeat of this. Hence, the justified, more maybe intrusive way or more probing or demands or just checks and balances, increased checks and balances and support. But yeah, we'll see. Rambling Entertained with a $5 super chat. Happy Pride Month. PlayStation has Aloy and Seika. Nintendo has Link and Ganondorf. What? I don't know.
You mean Lincoln Sidon? How dare you?
Okay. Ganondorf. That's weird. Xbox has Gaz and Fritinga. I ship you. What? Link and Ganondorf. That's weird. You're weird. It's like almost been like an angry dad kind of like trying to kill his son. It was weird. Ganondorf's cool bad guy though. I need to play Smash Bros again.
Okay, guys. So you're having some family issues.
No, I love my dad, but he doesn't beat the shit out of me. Well, he used to. Sipping Gaming with a $10 super chat. Do you guys think we got to get a shadow drop on the 11th? Guys, making those hilarious videos. Shout out to you.
No.
I don't think so, but I'm gonna tell you, I think some things about motorsport, and that's all I'll say. But I don't think we will. But just that would be wild.
We're gonna talk about that in a bit.
You know what?
Well, sorry.
You know what could happen?
What?
They could shadow drop, say, some remasters of a franchise.
Yep.
That people are looking forward to seeing at that show. Fable.
Yep. Or Gears.
So let's talk about Fable.
Or Gears. That franchise as well. They've been working on.
We'll talk about Gears just after the Fable, but the Fable was making the news circuit this week. Part of Microsoft's marketing was basically, you probably haven't seen it, someone had a controller in their hand with glitter everywhere, and the glitter seemed to be leading to something goes up to a TV, and it's the Xbox Showcase event. There's some particular type of music playing. Almost everyone assumed it was Fable. Like the music sounds like Fable. I don't know if it is from Fable, but it has almost the same whimsical, very particular type.
It sounded similar.
Mystical thing. People said the glitter looked like the waypoints you had, and I don't even remember this, but people remembered it. It's not something you remember. Fable, and I completed Fable 1, 2, and 3, and I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember the way. Yeah, but I don't think that was a defining feature. So there's that. But the combination of that, music being played, that kind of waypoint, and if the Fable doesn't get shown at the showcase, people are like, it's definitely getting shown.
It's so funny because they might not even thought of that. They might have just put that up to be funny, but they.
You never know.
Well, when I first saw it initially, I mean, I wasn't really listening to the music and thinking Fable at all. I was just seeing the purple and blue coming from the logo for this show, which was purple and blue. And I thought, it's showing a star field on the logo, so maybe that's just Stardust. That's what I was thinking. So I didn't even think about Fable. Then when people were saying, no, listen to the music, I was like, okay, that does sound like Fable when they showed it. But what if they did that teaser for just the remasters and the new Fable's not even there?
So who cares about freaking Gears collection? I
don't care about these remasters and stuff either. But I'm just saying, what if that's all that's there? Even a remake, I don't know.
I'd be
down more for the
speculation coming from. Is that a thing we know about?
I haven't heard of that.
It's just an idea. If they remastered Fable 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're just because I've heard from some people saying that could be a thing they're doing.
Yeah,
was remastering
to help build it up, maybe stall for time too.
So episode 13 is convinced it's the quest trail, and I'm just like, I don't know. Okay, maybe. If it does get shown, and Fonz, you were fighting the Twitter streets on this point. If it does get shown, you will not be happy with an engine thing. And people came at you for that.
No, let me set it straight. So I personally, look, this is my thought process when it comes to game announcements. When you announce a game originally, and you have a CGI or even a splash screen with the title or whatever, you know, that's fine for an announcement
or a review.
But
yeah,
exactly. But years down the line, that you know you've already been developing that game, and you're going to bring it back to a games showcase. You better have some gameplay, even if it's a tiny smidge of gameplay. That's what I better see in the next time you show it. I don't want to see CGI or even in engine, you know, something that says in engine and then show you like just, I don't know, a tree, or, you know,
like you say tree with Fable,
a face, you know, a face, or like, you know, what they do with Hellblade 2 all the time. They show you Senua's face all the time. And it's like, okay, it's great. It's in engine, looks amazing. Show me freaking gameplay. That's what I want to see. It's the same type of thing. Like, I don't care to see that. And some people get hyped for that stuff. They're like, oh, I would love to see anything. And I'm like, well, at this point,
you did a poll, didn't you?
Yeah, and people were divided. The community was divided, and 60%, I think, wanted to see gameplay.
So on your poll, oh my God, bro, it's 56% only said I need some gameplay.
Okay, 56%. So it's the community is divided. It's divided.
Yes, so the other option was so the question, chat, was Xbox fans, would you be happy if they just showed an in-engine trailer for Fable with no gameplay at the showcase? And the first option was, yes, that's good enough. That got 43.9%, and the gameplay squad said 56. So like, that's a quite even split. And I'm surprised about that. Well, not that surprised. I want to see gameplay, especially some people are like, oh no, that CGI, it wasn't barely a CGI trailer. That was more like a logo reveal. I'm like, bro, at what point? That is a CGI trailer. It's got something in the game. Yeah, it's whimsical. That's done. If you show another CGI trailer, I think that's an L. That's a fat L. That doesn't tell me anything, though. You haven't progressed.
You know what I would be okay with is if they had an in-engine thing where they fly over the town, and they show you actually what you're going to see, and then have a little tiny bit of gameplay. Like have him running and you know, fighting something really quick, and be actual gameplay. I'd be fine with that.
Do you remember the Halo Infinite? I think it was at E3. Their 2021 show. No, 2021. They showed a cutscene of Chief like going through all the debris from the intro. But before that, they had like Joe say, "This is the world of Halo Infinite," and they panned above what is the open world of the game. I could picture that. Yeah, you know, doing the little like pan of the open world where we probably don't see gameplay, but maybe just the character. Exactly what you said, Fonz. I think they could. They did that for Halo.
You show me a picture of a tree or some ants crawling on a log. No, I'm not dealing with that. Or a fairy flying through the That's
not 620 plus people watching. Thank you. Hit that like button.
But crazy. I'm not going to say that Fable's there. I honestly think that they would tease remasters or a remake of Fable.
Bro, they do that, I'll be so pissed. If you're going to show Fable, show gameplay, or even if you do like you said, a little bit of gameplay. It depends on how good the in-engine thing looks. But after Slip Space Engine and what happened with Halo Infinite, can you blame me for being a little bit dissatisfied with that notion of an in-engine
everybody expects
cutscene? Especially with Fable rumors going about the, they're not rumors according to me, but the struggle with Forza Tech and the team struggling. I think that you can't ignore that noise as well. And then Matt Booty says the game looks great last year. He said it because I've seen it. It looks really good. So that adds pressure
show it to us
to be shown. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he makes these statements. Well, then, all right, you're giving a hint that it's closer to release. If you don't show it, it's not that great. It's not that great because we've been waiting for it for a while. It's not the end of the world because if you do show it, it's also a plus. It's also
my question would be if they do show, let's say, just like we were saying, just the pan over of the town or area or whatever, and then the character maybe walking, you know, would that necessarily, and maybe just the smallest snippet, I'm talking about like the first time you saw Tears of the Kingdom gameplay, it was such a short ass trailer that made it very underwhelming.
But I want to see
if they do that, is it fine for us to just see that, or do they have to attach like a 2024 to it?
Nah, they don't have to do that.
Okay.
And I don't think this game, a lot of people are speculating this to be coming out in like 2025.
Yeah,
it probably will come out late, which is probably why I'll be surprised they actually do show it.
Yeah. What's the point at this?
2 years in advance, they show some gameplay.
Yeah, they don't do that. Xbox doesn't typically show gameplay unless it's a year out.
Yep.
So it's not them. So it's kind of crazy to me to think that there will be gameplay. So on that note, I'm like, well, then why show it? If you're just going to show me some in-engine thing, why don't you give that time to a game that is ready to show?
If there is one.
If there is one, exactly. But I think they have a lot of other stuff that they could show, stuff they've already announced. You know,
it's software.
You've got Avowed. That will make my show for me. If they actually show Avowed gameplay, I'll be excited. Like that'll get me hype. I can't wait for Avowed. They could show us what Contraband's about. They could finally show us some gameplay on that.
This is a slight spoiler to I had Colt Eastwood on my channel yesterday where we literally just only talked about the showcase for like over an hour and a half. So plug into that. But during the show, I bring up like we are now 3 years out from the July 2020 showcase. And if anybody remembers that showcase, that was one they were building up the Series X and S, and like this is what's coming. Here's Game Pass and stuff. But in terms of first party, that specific showcase had so many. Here's the title graphic. Here's the title graphic. Like here's Avowed. Here's State of Decay 3.
Yep.
Here's Fable. I think that they ended with Fable. Actually Contraband was the year after that. But I feel like everything that was from the July 2020 showcase, it's 3 years later. We back in the day used to get games in 3 years. But now it's more like a 5 or 6 year process. But it's been 3 years since that showcase. I feel like things from that specific showcase were due for some kind of like, even if it's the developer on screen for a moment, just like, we're still a bit off, but we wanted to show you a little sneak peek at what we've been working on, kind of a thing.
And show us a little bit of gameplay. Just a little.
And if it's literally just that, then I think the developer does have to come on and just like a 30-second thing, because if they just show it, it's not going to hype people to see it for 1 minute.
When I talk about a game showcase, or when I think about a game showcase, it's about the games and the gameplay. Like that's what I want to see there. And reveals, of course, announcements, all that's great, but I don't like going into a game showcase and watching essentially what they could do on a dev diary, like what Hellblade 2 does with their dev diaries. They're showing all that in-engine stuff there. There's no gameplay, but it's in-engine. That's where you allot that to, where you're giving updates and stuff for your games. I don't want an update at the game showcase. I don't want a guy to come out and say, hey, we've been working on this for 10 years. We're still working. See you next year, maybe.
And if they have...
I don't want that.
Remember, I think it was last year and the year before. I think they started this the year before, which to me, 2021 was like the best showcase Xbox has had since 2018. But I think both 2021 and last year, they had like a follow-up show where it was like Paris or somebody else, and they just like would interview people and talking about stuff. Most of the time, they were just talking about stuff that was already at the big show. But I'd kind of like the idea if it was like, okay, there might have been a lot of things that weren't there, and that's because they're a lot farther away. So we just wanted to bring some devs to kind of talk about that stuff in this show. I'm like, oh, that would be the perfect balance to me. To just the main show, here's your hype gameplay and release dates and blah, 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 Game Pass gets. And then the post show, we'll dive into those a bit more, and here's some updates from those other games that weren't there.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
I love that.
Yeah, because it does a lot of things that in that way. It gets you excited by the immediate future and also gives you an update on the future. A little bit of reassurance if it's backed up by nothing but just words. JD Gamer with a $50 super chat. Shout out to you, man. He goes, Microsoft, excite your base. Give your team and in quotes, I'll put some reverb to this.
Yep.
What does he say? Wait, freaking light is in the way. Give your team this is how you share game mode. What? Hold on. You want them to be toxic and say this is how you share game mode. That wasn't like a big moment. It was just dunking on the competition.
It dunked pretty hard though. That hit hard,
bro. That
hit really hard.
Our anuses to the point where we're still talking about it right now.
Yeah.
He says that a secret word. Oh, you finished your alcohol.
I wasn't listening. Sorry, I just saw Alex Hester just said in chat that Diablo has a 77-minute queue.
Yeah.
I ran out of the wine. You're definitely like, I'll keep this game going because unfortunately you're quite predictable, so I'll be quite drunk most weeks. But certain phrases. Yeah.
An executive, he says, needs to wear a hold the line shirt. I think Aaron Greenberg actually bought one, so he might actually be wearing it at the showcase while saying stuff that, for those of you that held the line,
they can't. If any of them even reference Activision Blizzard King, I'm just gonna switch it off. Fuck off. And we'll be live. I'll be like, we're not watching this anymore. Sorry, everyone.
They'll just switch it off on everybody.
Oh man, we have something special. The bang new IP will be glorious. I like this. I like the way you think, JD. You want them to say this is how you share game moment. Everyone's like, yeah. Then it's like hold the line, community outreach. Understand? Hold the line means we acknowledge we failed and we are fucking up our acquisition and our games delivery, but we'll wear this shirt unironically. And then boom, bang.
Oh my gosh.
New IP.
How much? And that's one thing I really do want them to show as well, is a brand new IP we have not seen.
Yeah.
Something brand new, unannounced.
No, we might get it, man. See, this is the thing with Microsoft, bro. They have,
but it's
got to
be big. When I say that, it's got to be big. It can't be one of these cartoon cat games or something.
If Doom comes out, you're telling me that's not big? That'd be big. That'd be huge.
I want a new franchise.
Yeah.
I want a completely new franchise. I want a new IP. I want something.
Birth an idea of a new franchise. Let's talk about a new franchise we haven't heard of. It's going to be a isometric
I just want something
in first person.
No.
I mean, they're going to rely on Double Fine on that front, because Double Fine, they keep saying like we only wanted to keep making original games going forward.
I love Psychonauts too. I love Psychonauts.
Oh
I think that's a great franchise.
Yeah, but you know, like even Psychonauts is an established IP, but like Double Fine, Tim Schafer, he said like, no, we don't want Banjo, we don't want anything. We just want to keep making just new stuff. Basically.
I don't want Banjo though. I don't want Banjo.
Everyone wants Banjo, man. There's so much.
Not everyone.
No, buy it. Well, luckily, thanks for Game Pass.
Not everyone.
Let
me ask you something,
Kiwi is the guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, what? I see Osa. Banjo.
Have you gone back and played Banjo recently? Like,
Okay.
I'm asking.
Listen. No, I haven't. I literally said this last night too. I'm like, here's the thing, Colt. I'm not a Banjo fan whatsoever. But it's like I want a new Killer Instinct because I see the movement and I get so excited when movements happen, and I like people being happy. But also the big reason is because
people to be happy. The game is gonna be shit. They'll be sad.
And if it's bad, then that's the problem. But we won't know until it comes out. We won't know until it comes out. But like the reason I personally like, why would you say that if you're not a Banjo fan? Let's put aside the people part. It's because like they don't. I feel like Xbox is just, here's a shooter, here's an RPG, here's a realistic thing, here's an artsy thing. I want to see that little Nintendo come out of them. I want to see even from PlayStation, that little Big Planet. That Ratchet,
you got that
Clank.
from PlayStation.
Like,
you got Ratchet
exactly
Clank.
like
you got Foam Stars. That's like Splatoon.
I want that I want those cartoony platformers to not die out. I was so happy seeing Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts nominated for Game of the Year when they came out. I'm like, cool. Let's keep up that momentum. Don't let that genre die out.
No, I have no problem with that. It's just Banjo itself, that specific franchise, just was not ever good to me. I guess it was because I was an adult when that dropped, and it didn't appeal to me at all. And I tried playing it, and I did not care for it.
You know what I find weird, though, Fonz, is all the people that are asking for it are adults as well.
Because it's nostalgia. They remember when they were kids. Because I've been asking people that. I go, how old were you when that dropped? Oh, I was a kid. That's why. You have nostalgia for the game.
I'm not with C Wubby here. C Wubby in the chat's like Banjo-Kazooie is the one more thing. No. That's not the one more. That's not the last thing. That's the somewhere in the middle of the show. That's gonna be just for the specific few of us. Yeah.
I you know what? If that was the one more thing, I will quit podcasting. I will quit talking about games. No, I won't quit podcasting. I will podcast. I will quit talking about games. I will move to something else because that would be the most ridiculous.
We can start our own podcast
if
idea that we
Banjo
talked
was
about.
the one more thing.
Yeah,
I would totally quit talking about games.
Okay, we can do the other thing that we talked about, right, Fonz? The non-gaming podcast. Me and you don't even say the
bro.
name.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that, man.
We might
We'd
do
get
that.
canceled in a day.
We get canceled in a day if it's just like normal life stuff.
I mean, we might get canceled in real life. If we had a podcast like that.
Wait, our views are not that bad. Let me just
no, it's just we're too real. Like if we because we would talk about everyday life, everything like it in gaming. Cutting up on each
like
other.
everyone's really soft in the gaming space because now I'm seeing like a big movement away from that woke stuff. I see Theo Von is doing really well in the comedy circuit, and he sees some pretty crazy things. Like is almost bringing back to that humor. So I do hope things will change in that front, but that's a different topic entirely. Definitely. But one of the things you wouldn't see in this showcase would be booth babes, because that was an old relic of the A3 days.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? I can. So Spartan 17 with the £2 super chat. We saw in-engine Starfield. We know how it ended.
We also saw a bit of what the gameplay looks like. So I mean, we've already seen a lot of that actually.
I think it looks good. I think it just got performance-wise issues aside. I think it looks good, really good. Charlie Thompson with a £2 super chat. Forget Banjo. I want Viva Pinata. A lot of people.
No.
I think people would say, like, "Oh my God, Rare's big game Banjo," and you got Viva Pinata. That
nope, you're getting one more thing is going to be Redfall DLC. That's what you're getting.
Oh God, man. Nah. Lady Foxfire wants Gears 6 a teaser with 2024 or 2035.
That would work.
35. You skipped up 10 less.
I know. I saw that. I was like 2024 or 2035.
2035.
So you wanted to
now,
be
here's the thing.
11 years before.
Here's the thing, though, about that.
Could be 2035.
Here's the thing, though. There was, and this is another thing I brought up in that show. I keep plugging it in. It was a really good talk with Colt, but like I was listening to IGN's podcast Unlocked.
Why?
And they interviewed, because I listened to it, but they were interviewing Rod Ferguson, who's head of Diablo stuff now, who was formerly doing all the Gears games, and he said an interesting snippet in that where Ryan McCaffrey asked him like, so just because you're on the show, I just want to ask you just one question having to do with Xbox. Now you're no longer with them, whatever, and just like what made you leave behind Gears when you have like a tattoo of it on you? You shipped like over 10 games with them, like what kind of made you transition out? And he said something interesting there.
What did he say?
I want to ship games. That's what he said. I want to keep shipping games. And when we were going to Gears 5 to Gears 6, we knew we were going to Unreal 5. And because of that, we would have to transition everything and redesign everything under, that new engine. That process alone was going to take us 18 months to do. So honestly, the game probably wouldn't have been out for at least another 5 years. And I just knew that, I wanted to release more games, and I just saw the opportunity to work on the Diablo team, which thrilled me and blah, blah, blah. But I thought that was interesting because he basically confirmed, like, okay, if they're switching a new engine, that's going to take 18 months. New game release, that'd probably take 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
5 years from Gears 5, 2024. Now, COVID happened, so you might have to add a year to that. But just saying, a teaser, just a little teaser. Like that's how they end the show. They just give the year and that's it, or they just announce
God
it.
of War Ragnarok did.
Very much like Ragnarok, actually. Very much like Ragnarok. Yeah, where it's just letting people know we now see it on the horizon. That's it. That's all we can tell you. But it's like within reach now. So we'll see.
I think that'd be good. I think that would be good. I think that would definitely. I mean, Gears. We know Gears is coming, so but that's a big AAA game. One, like
I mean, a huge drop.
I hope they change the form. Whether or not they will, I doubt it. I think the next Gears game will stick to the very Gears formula, not the magical revisioning that I want. But even then, even though I'm someone who's a bit tired of Gears, I definitely day one definitely want to see what the coalition would do with that visually. I know we were talking about a teaser, but the reason why it's so exciting to see a teaser is like we get to see now the staple best Naughty Dog level studio from Xbox's equivalent or near enough. So they're pretty really up there. So I'm not saying they're better than Naughty Dog. Who knows? Naughty Dog can't even do multiplayer, right? The wrong sound.
At least according to Bungie.
I know, right? Bungie and their testicles. They just dipped it. Teabag, boom. Go back to the drawing board.
After 4 years.
I was hoping that would be one of the words, Asa. Damn it. I'm just trying to. Do you still have wine there? Can I see a level
I've
check?
run out, so stop trying to guess the words.
No, you have to restart. You have to restart. If this thing is going to work, we need to see the alcohol levels. We have to. You have to refill the alcohol. I'm going to wait here until you do it.
You need a box of wine.
I'll do a hot
you.
sauce version, right? No, I'm not doing that. My stomach's already murked. But yeah, so go on. Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. He doesn't take it seriously, chat.
I do, but not when you're like playing to it and trying to guess the phrases. It has to be more natural, more organic. And then I'll probably not drinking more, to be fair.
Yeah. Fine, I'll carry the status quo on. Faisal with a £5 super chat. Shout out Faisal. I hope they show the next Jet Set Radio game and new gameplay of Hellblade 2. Like one of these is more feasible than the other, I think. Jet Set Radio does need to come back. It'll be a Sega IP, most likely multiplat, unless Microsoft changes its ways and does timed. But if it can do timed, it has done timed third parties. But
Sega plays ball, though. Sega's been playing ball with Xbox a lot the past year
playing
or two.
with Microsoft's balls, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Explain. Have they? Oh yeah, with the Yakuza stuff.
Just between the Yakuza and Persona, like Game Pass gets, and they I don't know. They just seem to have been in pretty good terms with Xbox lately. And
shut up, Mav. There seem to be. There is a lot of synergy there between those two. Jet Set Radio comes out, but I mean it has to be a Game Pass game based on their strategy. So
I'm with Darnell. Just even getting marketing gets like that's something I would like to see from the show too. Is just this feeling that publishers, because I know the tribal folks and the war folks are the people that want to feel entitled to have an Xbox. They want to have those first parties there. But I want to also feel like the publishers want to be on Xbox instead of just we have to be on Xbox.
Point. That's such a good point.
I want to feel like, like EA, Ubisoft, Square Enix, whoever, like I want to feel like they want to be here.
That
instead
justifies
of just
my console warring. I'll bring this point anytime Asa wants
to however you want to look at it. But.
Yeah, that's why Microsoft. I want them to be timed because it's good to see them support the platform. Hey, KBG giving me so much ammo to defend myself when I raise console war points, but it's true though.
It wasn't the intent. No. Don't use my words against me.
But Hellblade 2, fonts, man. We need to see freaking gameplay for this if they're going to show. In fact, do you think they need to actually show this now?
Yeah, because with all the rumors swirling that it could be, ready enough to ship by this year or even early next year, you got to show it at the showcase. You have to. I think this is where you show that. I think they're going to show some excellent gameplay for Hellblade 2. I think this is really going to be a showstopper. I think it's going to look amazing. So
you're quite confident it's coming this month? Okay.
I think it'll be coming soon. I don't think it'll be this year. I don't personally think that, but I know a lot of people said that they will release the game this year, possibly. I've heard that it could happen from several people, including Rand. He's told me that too, but I'm like, I don't think so. I think this will be releasing next year. But again, if you're going to release it next year, it's ready to show gameplay. It's ready.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how long has it been in operation for? Build development? It's been
it seems like a long time.
2018, I think. They started in 2018. They announced it in 2019.
Yeah, and I want to see a lot more than just her, looking at a giant, throwing a spear, and running away. Like, I want to see actual combat.
Combat.
I want to see, because that's what they emphasize on, right? It's like that combat is much better now. They're saying that they've got, they went through mixed martial arts classes and stuff to get the combat right. And I'm like thankful, because if you played the first one, the combat's meh.
Pretty basic. It was meaty, but it's basic. It's they could do a lot more. This is the studio that made Heavenly Sword.
Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
It was basically a kind of a God of War ripoff with a female protagonist.
And I
loved it.
Devil May Cry 3?
DMC, yes.
Yeah. I loved Heavenly Sword. I played the hell out of that game.
What?
They made DMC as well. Not Devil May Cry, but DMC, the reboot that wasn't that well received.
Okay.
Did they make Enslaved too?
Wait, are you talking about Ninja Theory?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Gaz's mind is blown right now.
Wait, Ninja Theory did DMC 3. Not 3, the DMC, the last one.
I completed it. Completely lost my mind.
The young
that's
Dante.
possible.
No.
Is that what? No way. I did not know that.
Gaz's mind is so blown.
Shit, that's crazy.
I want to say that Hellblade 2, of all the first party projects currently announced in development, that is Samurai Kibaji's most anticipated.
Yeah,
that includes over Starfield. Like, I am through the moon stoked to see Hellblade 2. And I admit, I'm down with you guys with seeing combat, because I think that's the only part of the game I would like to see just a little bit of. But it's one of those games that I'm totally cool just not seeing nothing, because this is going to be a movie-like experience, and therefore the less spoilers, the better. I don't want to see where we're going. I don't want to see what we're fighting. I want to be shocked when I run into
I gotta see
mental
combat.
ridiculousness.
I gotta see combat.
And
just a smidge of it. I wanted to. Yeah.
They did make Enslaved as well, and that was a decent game back then.
I played a little bit of that. It was decent, but I didn't know about DMC. I was like, what the flip?
Yeah, DMC. And
I mean, the combat pedigree for me was proven with Heavenly Sword, because they have quite a lot of scope. But DMC changes that a lot. The ceiling is higher for combat.
I think they really wanted to focus on Senua's, mental health issues and stuff, and the puzzle aspect and everything that goes along with that. And to me, it's like, I want a little less of that puzzle, and I want a little more combat. That's what I need in this game. Because I couldn't get through all of Hellblade, because it just wasn't doing it for me.
The story on
the puzzles too just could be the puzzles could be fine-tuned a bit. Yeah, they were really there was one in particular, if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about, going through these caves. That one, whew. But
the caves just being terrible.
It was a hard one. Yeah, I don't even remember how I solved that, but
and the whole time your head is talking to you, but that's the I think that's why Hellblade was so good. It made you
I've
go
always described that
these...
one as being like a really difficult play, not because it's challenging like a Souls game, but it's difficult to push forward through that game, and it does it on purpose. Like, it is a very smartly designed difficult play.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong.
I think we'll definitely see it, and I think a release date too. I think we'll get the date.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Chet. I'm not saying that I didn't like the aspects where she's, hearing voices in her head and stuff. That stuff is cool. It's just that I felt that the puzzles were kind of weak, a lot of them, and the combat was weak. Just bump those up. And that's what they said they've done. Visually, it's a stunning looking game, Hellblade. So I expect this to, just knock it out of the park visually.
Same. Oh yeah, visually on Unreal Engine 5. I
think it'll probably be one of the best, probably the best looking game out there, period.
Yeah, it should be, based on this more restrictive game design.
At least one of. Yep.
Yeah. King Hell says, I don't need the mental health dread. I think it's that element of that game, you can't escape it. That's the identity.
That's the big part of it. Yeah.
Like
literally,
you can't pull that away.
Without spoiling too much, that's
I wouldn't pull it
sort
away.
of part of the combat. So it's like you can't necessarily escape what that game is.
For me, though, that was like a game transcending what games are, in a sense. Not to say that it's superior to what games are, but it's breaking that. Like, it's not there entirely for your entertainment value.
Wall,
It's not even fourth wall. It's just deep. It's touching like mature subject matter that's like
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
mature,
yeah.
not in the way that Cyberpunk is mature.
They try to make it. They try to make it an experience. That's what it was. They're trying to make it an experience that you have rather than it being a game you play. Yeah.
It was an experience because of that hard graft and because of going. It's such a well designed game because of that. The challenge will be to make that. Do that in a different way, because I think unanimously, almost critically, did get not panned, but critiqued for its combat and puzzle. Basically, it's gameplay. I don't think
the game part of it. Yeah,
the game part of it. It's not for the second outing. It will not be as good an excuse to say the slog is part of the design, because I think now we will be expecting you to make it less of a slog, make it enticing, make the combat good, because I don't think that excuses the combat-wise the simple combat system the first game had. That doesn't really further the gameplay or the story or deepen the immersion. So that net needs to be completely engaging, and I think there will be based on what you said, Fons. But in terms of the puzzle stuff, again, there are other inventive ways to. I'm not going to conceive them here because I probably can't. But there definitely ways to. It does need to be upgraded, so there are some challenges with this. But what I have a lot of faith in Ninja Theory, and I think they will deliver an astounding looking game with much better combat than the first game, and hopefully some better puzzles. But it's very early to say that. But I do think it will come. They will show it. They will show it at the showcase.
Yeah,
I think it'll be quite strong contender. And I think you should almost expect it because it's been so long.
I expect it.
It's the odd number years, man. They revealed in 2019. They showed gameplay in 2021, and now they're gonna show the date.
Yeah, date. I mean, not even date. Just say the year. I think people will be happy to. It's 2024, early 2024. Yeah. That'd be a big win.
Yeah, if I was Xbox, I wouldn't be putting a specific date on anything right now.
Not now. Yeah. They can't commit to any date, so they should not be.
Just 2024 will be fine.
Yeah.
Well, if at this showcase though, because they have things to show at the showcase, and Starfield's gonna be the last big game we really have any date for. So then after Starfield, we don't know. Is Starfield just their very early fall game, or do we see what their holiday release game is if they have one?
Yeah, that would probably be the other one shown, which would be Forza.
Yeah. Forza is going to be holiday, man.
I don't think it's Forza.
What do you mean? When do you think Forza's coming out?
I think Forza comes very shortly before or after Starfield.
Before Starfield? You think it's going to come before?
I think a part of me thinks that.
I think
now, obviously, it could be wrong. Totally.
Yeah.
I keep hearing October,
June, July,
I keep hearing November.
August, 3 months. And they haven't even barely marketed it.
We'll find out. It's literally just a gut feeling, but the reason I guess the gut feeling is because previously it feels like whenever Forza really shows up at a showcase, other than last year was the first. I'm not totally confident in this, so people can totally backsass me here, but I feel like whenever Forza shows up at a showcase and they give you the here's what the game is and blah blah blah, they have an actual developer telling you instead of just a sizzle trailer. It's usually been and with the confidence, here's the date kind of a thing, and it's coming up pretty gosh darn.
The indication of when it was being revealed. I still think that's your holiday game, man. I think so. I'll
be disappointed if that's a holiday game. I guess that's the other part of it. Very much at the selfish level. I'm I don't want to.
What if they reveal that Hellblade 2 is the holiday game?
That's what I think, personally. That's what I believe.
That'd be amazing.
A lot of people read that into what Phil Spencer said when he was talking about games coming.
Yeah. He did say it. He did kind of slip it out by mistake, it seemed. Well,
he definitely didn't say that it was this year, but he was talking about the quarterly releases, and he went through them in order and dropped Hellblade, name dropped it as. Yeah, he didn't put a date on it, but a lot of people read that and drew their own conclusions.
And he was also saying I see, people want us to have that consistent cadence, and right now I finally see it. I do see it, and that was the interview that he was defeated and everything. Yeah, he's and I'm telling you, the things that I've seen, it's there. It's just
what about? But then where does Forza lie? I mean, because
late July, early August. That is my claim.
I don't think they're going to drop it that early.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily it would be a bad idea, though, because there's a very different type of game coming before Starfield.
It's mostly because, and I've said this on your show before, guys, and this is totally just me, talking.
If you're right.
It's just me talking. I don't want to sound like I'm an authority or anything, but I've said on this show many times, I love the idea of spread out releases from Xbox. And I'm just saying,
it makes sense.
Hi-Fi Rush January, Minecraft Legends April, Redfall May. There is no summer game currently, so maybe Motorsports that July game, and Starfield is September. I love it. You spread them out. Good job. Instead of doing the bulk ass shit that you did in 2021. I didn't like what they did in 2021, just bulking it all together.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I agree.
I like the idea of there being a November game 2 months after Starfield.
That would be crazy.
And if that is Forza, then that means until Starfield comes out, that would be like a 4-month gap.
It's more beneficial to Game Pass as well for them.
It is
spread out
to keep people around. Yep.
Definitely.
Speaking of Game Pass, the July Game Pass game, not July, whatever month we're in now, June Game Pass games were pretty lackluster, right? So there's probably
amazing games
that getting fleshed out in the show, right? So what's coming this month? What are we going to see dropped in Game Pass as a part of the show reel?
It can only be third party. So what are you thinking? What could they release? What do you mean? It could be maybe Hogwarts later.
Normally when they've got a showcase planned and they do they go in early with this is what's coming this month, and it's a shorter list than usual. So it usually means
Shadow Drop?
Well, just something coming as part of the showcase. By the way,
Lies of P. Oh, that's a good question, Slim Pickens.
I thought I saw August for that game, but I guess I was hallucinating that. I swear I thought I saw August.
I don't know when that one's got a release date. Black Cobra with a $5 super chat. I would love to see them make a Fallout 1 and 2 remake and Doom 1 and 2 and 64 remake. That would be massive. A remake, fine. Those are big. They could do it with Doom. Kind of maybe on that engine. But yeah, look, remake's different. But remasters, nah, no chance. Venomous Viper with a 17-month member. He says one more thing will be GTA 6. Gaz, you will hold your L. I didn't even contest it. How are you giving me an L? I will contest it. GTA 6 is not your one more thing. Fight me. Peter Morland with a 16-month member chat. Unashamedly, the Xbox presentation will be awesome. Not because I'm a fanboy, I genuinely believe it. Also, what a great combination tonight. Great show. Shout out to Peter Morland. Well, okay. What I think if they showed this game, I don't know how likely you think it is, but I would be so hyped. If it looks good, and you guys are going to laugh at me for saying this, or going to throw shit at me. Halo Tatanka version, if that got shown off from that studio, maybe early, but it's Unreal Engine, and they're making that game, I would be like, all right, now this is not 343 doing it. And it's going to be one mode, because this is the thing I missed with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite didn't do multiplayer-wise, didn't have Warzone. Warzone was such a big addition to Infinite. So we always talked about, even before Halo got released, it should do Battle Royale. It fits the Halo model so much. Large open landscapes, vehicle, combat, all of that. And Kibikibi's holding his Master Chief. But if Halo Tatanka comes out, bro, I'd be hyped.
Stop it.
Why?
Stop it. I don't want to see anything Halo there.
Oh, bro, I'd love to see Halo.
I just don't.
It'd be sick.
I'd rather see other things than Halo. Just
Tatanka, come on, man. Look,
so
especially Battle Royale, I don't care. It's not for me.
Yeah, but it's Halo.
Yeah, and so and Fonz and I will be on essentially the opposite sides of the spectrum on this one. But what I was thinking is, because the reason I particularly want to see it I'm a fan and everything, but more specifically, the game is finally at the spot that I think people honestly wanted to be at launch. They wanted Forge in, they wanted custom games in, they wanted co-op in. They wanted more maps. They wanted more playlists. They wanted a better progression system. There's all these things that they wanted at launch that are there now. But the thing is that it's so much later and it's such a recognized brand and IP that people have just kind of like, I don't care. It was Halo. It failed. I just want to forget about it. And they haven't come back to it. But this is their chance to potentially pull a Fall Guys, if you will, where Fall Guys did like a revamp, a relaunch. And when they did that, player base shot up hard. And I think they keep marketing to the Halo community. That's what 343 keeps doing. They keep marketing to the Halo community, but Xbox is not marketing to the Xbox community. Yeah. And if the game is at the spots that people are, I see Tim Purd, Halo Infinite's great now, I would agree. And if it's at that spot that people wanted at launch, then maybe this is finally that time that instead of 343 talking to the Halo community, Xbox talks to the Xbox community. And they highlight all the stuff that they added, give a little sneak peek at Season 4, and at the end of it, hopefully give a tease at the future in Season 5 or beyond, which is, the Tatanka, the PvE stuff that they're adding to Forge too.
PvE stuff.
That's coming. That's coming. Yeah.
They showed campaign stuff. I would wish you another.
Yeah, no campaign stuff, but they are working on adding AIs to like custom games in Forge and multiplayer. But
I mean,
I'd just be very happy to get like a sizzle trailer like that. But they tease at Tatanka. They should like that's part of it. You know, here's what we've added. Here's Season 4, and here's the future. I think that'd be great to hopefully bring people back.
I think they need to do that with Halo. Fonz, I know you don't want to see any Halo there.
I'm pretty much like I'm over it, especially with 343 still at the helm and doing their thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the campaign.
Maybe the team has changed.
It was. I enjoyed the campaign.
Well, the team has changed.
They didn't have enough there to really grab people to play that multiplayer, and for me anyway, to stick around. And a bunch of people that I know personally that were playing it just don't play it anymore. They don't.
Yeah. I don't play
and the Battle Royale to me is just, it's so played out. Like,
I'd like Battle Royale, Halo. Though.
I love the idea
of an engine as well.
But they kind of already did it too. They had the last man standing thing, but it's like, I'm with Fonz, and I see somebody else. And I see somebody else saying it too. Like, I don't want it to be a Battle Royale. I want it to be something like they thought of something.
It has to be unique. Yeah,
exactly.
If it was unique, I would concede, because I'm not the type of guy to say, I don't want to see something, and if it shows and I really like it, I won't say it. I'll still stick to, my negative self and say I didn't like it. No, I will concede at that point. If it's something cool and unique, of course, I'm going to call it out and say that was great. I like that they did that, but we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Well, Halo should be something completely different, in my opinion. They could take so many risks with that, but that's gone. Brian Crest, thank you for the $5 super chat. He goes, can we get Lost Odyssey 2, please? Yes, Microsoft. You want to make moves in Japan? Freaking get Lost Odyssey 2. This is greenlit. I don't know which studio, but make sure they do it. Xbox needs a Final Fantasy type game, definitely. Lost Odyssey 2, man. If you sign that up, even like the Japanese market will be like, huh? What's going on? Okay, one Persona thing is not going to do, and they spent quite a lot of marketing on that. So, Lost Odyssey 2, yes. Shout out to Brian Crest, also became a member. Yeah, that's the wrong song, but it still works. Bang, 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 bang. Welcome to the familia, man. We try and not scare you off too quickly. But it's okay. Hey, let's attack a little bit.
There was a super chat earlier. Sorry, I think we ignored. It was a small one, but I'm not sure about. I thought it was a super chat. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw somebody bring up like Hi-Fi Rush. They added a bunch of achievements. What do you guys think of that? And I would love the excuse to go back to that game. That's a nutshell.
Yeah, definitely. That's more content for that would be actually pretty cool. Actually, I don't think it'll be too early to announce that if that is in the works, but that'd be pretty cool. conceptually. But realistically, what are we talking about that's actually going to come out? So Zanka seems like, no. So we agree Hellblade has a strong likelihood of being shown. Forza's obviously going to be shown and really needs a release date because it's missed the 12-month window. Normally I say don't give a shit about release dates because Microsoft can't commit to them. But with Forza, they've backed themselves in a corner because it's missing the 12-month date. You need to give us a date on when you're actually releasing it. Otherwise, we're like, what are you doing? What is the reason for you to delay this game that's supposedly complete and it's the best Forza? It needs to have a date. So Forza's going to be there and it's going to have a date most likely.
Yep.
What
and it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Forza. Oh, it's going to be wicked. It got me back to Forza 7. Yeah. Guess what? It's good. It's still better than Gran Turismo. We've got that. Shots fired always against GT. What else is there? So Avowed, I think Avowed is actually very realistic. I think it's the majority. People will be seen as a win, and also it's kind of half expected, I think. I feel like.
Yeah. It's on a lot of people's lists out there to be there.
Yeah. I'd say Hellblade and Avowed are the two most brought up for this show. And potentially
Hellblade and
that
Avowed.
holiday release.
So Hellblade third-person game, Avowed is RPG, first-person. That's cool. You've got Forza 7, which is a racer, which we know it's going to be there.
And then, of course, the game that Compulsion's working on, the codename Midnight something. Anyway, that might be revealed. Who knows? But a lot of people are saying that that's, pretty exciting for them anyway, because it's the first time they're going into an open world aspect,
What was that game?
It might be
be
really good.
It was like a vampire game. What was it? Code Vampire?
No, it's like a kind of like a mysterious. How did they explain it?
Steampunk kind of thing. No, what was it?
I think that's in
It's set in the South. It's set in the South, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's like a. I forgot what they called it, but I want to see what the game is.
Hopefully we'll
right?
see. Yeah.
They just gave a little blurb on what the game was generally about, but they didn't tell you what it was. What it was exactly. So,
but that's just one. There's so many studios. You think about it, like Machine Games.
They still need to
Indiana
show something.
Jones. Indiana
Jones. I don't think we'll see that this year. I think that'll be next year.
Yeah,
I want to see it, but I think so. I thought that was revealed in 2020. But no, that was at the start of 2021, I guess. So
that one seems like a bit further away from.
I'm telling you, man, my money is on just anything that was on that July 2020 showcase. That's State of Decay 3. That's Avowed. That's Fable. Yeah.
State of Decay 3.
We could see something.
That'd be good if you saw. If you saw Avowed,
the ones that we got logos from 3 years ago, my money's on any of those.
I know. I know it would cost. I know it would cost them some money to do and everything, and it would be a lot of time to put things together. But I really love when developers do things like those dev diaries just to update you on their games as progress goes along. I wish more people would do that. More developers would do that.
Montes says Everwild. No chance.
Everwild, dude.
Neverwild.
That wasn't out so long ago.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Perfect Dark.
Everwild. Remember Perfect Dark. No
chance.
I don't think it'll be there.
I'll be shocked. I'll be positively shocked.
Yeah. I want to see it. I
I have an interesting question for y'all that I asked Colt last night that I think is interesting. The summer showcase is coming up a couple days before this. Okay, the Summer Game Fest. Kickoff show. Xbox is on the list of partners there, as is PlayStation. We're talking about the Xbox showcase right now. Yeah. If they decided to pull something out of the showcase, what do you think that would be that they would give to Summer Game Fest? Would it be something big that would be like a monumental moment, or would it be something that they just want to get eyes on to bring them to the platform? What would you think of that? I asked the chat that too.
I think the latter. I think
it would be ideal if we're watching Summer Game Fest and Forza Motorsport comes out, then we'll know they've got a banging show coming up. Like a game that we know and we've seen would be ideal for Summer Game Fest if they've got a banging show coming up.
That's preceding the Xbox show, right?
Yeah,
a couple of days
3 days before.
Ooh, if we saw Forza, yeah, man, you're right. If they showed Forza during Summer Games Fest, Then you're like, wait a minute, because that's a section that you could see them take 5, maybe even 10 minutes. They've done a deep-ish dive already. I don't think they need to do another deep dive into Forza, but that's 5 to 10 minutes shaved off. That's a big first-party IP. If that gets shown off Summer Games Fest, then you're like, you're right. We'd be like, there's gonna be some memes up in her.
Like I see Tondo going probably just Game Pass ads, which will probably be the case. But like,
realistic game.
I think the safe bet is something that's like games as a service kind of a thing, like something like Sea of Thieves or Halo. You know, that they want to get people on kind of a thing, but they save the big moments to lift up their own show. And then Colt was disagreeing with me. He's like, no, I think it'd be something big because they'd want to like hit people there hard. It's like, that was here. What are they going to have in their own showcase?
But why?
I don't know.
Why do you think they would do that? Hold something big off for the Summer Games Fest?
No.
You mean
Summer Games?
Huge. Is that like it's worth?
You mean give it to Summer Game Fest? Or
yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Forza would be a good one to show because then that's.
I mean, I lean to what I think Fonz is saying. Like, I lean to that. I think it would just be something safe. You know,
I think it will be safe.
Look at the fact that you want to bolster your own showcase with the best stuff. You don't want to throw your best out there because that's what a lot of people were alluding to with the PlayStation Showcase, right? Oh no, they're just holding back. They're going to show something. They're going to show stuff over at the Summer Games Fest. And I'm like, why would they make their show really horrible in favor of Jeff Keighley's showcase?
That's the thing.
And if you look at the number of people that watched it, say on YouTube, a lot more people watched the showcases than they watched Summer Game Fest on YouTube, at least.
I don't know how the numbers will be. Well, all I'll say is the only reason we're suggesting that, we're not saying that will happen, but if they did do that, it would just be maybe an indication that they have so many good things that they can even afford to show one thing on the Summer Showcase.
It's like it is though, like it's a difficult thing for their marketing team to kind of navigate though, because they have to put like Summer Game Fest show the audience is mixed, so you're looking at people that love games but they might be playing on PlayStation or Nintendo or something else, so they don't want to go onto that stage and go like, we've got DLC for Minecraft Legends and then like save all the good stuff for their show, because potentially the audience they really need to convince to come over is there. So it's like a tricky one because obviously they can't deflate their own show, but
I see Osa in the chat. Maybe since you're all haters, they'll show Banjo at Summer Game Fest.
There you go. They can have it. They can have it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is interesting because they're going to show something there, right? Well, what if they do the whole Hellblade thing at Summer Game Fest?
Whoa, that's actually a good
it's just
point,
an interesting question to me, man.
They've always shown it there. They've always shown it.
Because they've all exactly Hellblade's been there.
They've shown it at the Game Awards.
Game Awards. But still, Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley sleeps around with an Antonides or
most
something.
of Xbox's, I think all of Xbox's big reveals actually were at the Game Awards.
At the Game Awards,
yeah. So Summer Game Fest, I can't recall anything major Xbox wise. Other than just a small thing. So
I just don't believe that a gaming showcase, I don't believe these companies would hold back their best.
I don't think Xbox can afford to hold back.
I say PlayStation can't either. I don't think they should. They would do that either. I really don't.
Well, they do
the game.
Maybe what we'll get is Phil Spencer sitting in the front row frowning for 3 hours.
Yeah. Actually, Nari brings up Stalker 2.
Yeah, so Nariko, thank you for the £2 super chat. Goes, what about Stalker 2? I think that's quite strong.
I think it should show. It should show.
Isn't it coming out this
I'm
year?
more. If I'm more likely to see something, I'm more believing Replaced than Stalker 2. I think Replaced is much more
would be sick.
Close.
Well, I've
but
I've heard that Stalker 2 is also ready to go pretty soon.
Yeah. They show both. That'd be amazing. Oh my god, Replaced being shown, then Stalker 2. These are my kind of games as well. Then you got Forza, then you got
they're great games. Yeah,
you've got
what we've mentioned
RPG,
right now is already 10 times the showcase Sony's was.
I mean, I don't want to.
And it's not even.
I'm not saying it's going to be that good, by the way.
No. If they showed these games, I'm just saying, like the games we've mentioned, if they actually show gameplay for these games, it would be better. And that is a fact. That is a fact. You can't dispute that.
Bro, Xbox, like, I mean, already with Starfield and Forza, I just think it just shits on the showcase. Starfield alone would shit on.
It's just that's how low the bar was set. That
was so bad. That was, if you're going to compare the two, then PlayStation set the bar so low. Microsoft can just show Forza, and I'll be happy. Or they're showing Starfield already. They've confirmed a dedicated after like a whole showcase for it. So already I'm hyped for.
Yep.
What PlayStation? What do you want me to get hyped about? Metal Gear Solid. There were other multiplats that were great, fine, but exclusive wise, nothing. So like Xbox, there was one that really.
But don't pretend.
They would have to be so.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't conceive how they would.
Yeah. Don't pretend that Xbox won't show some of those smaller games that we've seen.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, Replaced is a smaller game that I'm.
Yeah. But a lot of people actually really look at that and go, "Wow, that looks pretty cool. I can't, I want to play that." When you saw Pirates of the Caribbean, the Cat Quest game at Sony's showcase, you weren't going, "Oh my god, I got to play it!" Right?
Yeah, exactly. Dub member for 15 months. Shout out to you, bro. He goes, really hoping for Fable and a surprise third party like Jet Set Radio. Great panel as always. Shout out to you, Dub, man. And thank you for being a member for so long. We talked about Jet Set Radio.
And by the way, I've got to run. I'm really late. I've got to get something done. But I didn't know it was going to be this long today. But,
sorry, man, because this is pretty hyped, bro. We're having a good time.
No. I had a great time with you guys, but yeah, I had a phone call right before we started, and it just threw a wrench into everything, and I've got to run. Yeah.
All right, no worries, man. Take your time, bro.
All right, brother. All right, chat. Thank you for being coming to the show and enjoying these fine gentlemen because they're all awesome here. Just keep listening.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See you, man. Boom! And Ace Oled handles that smoothly, like on the fly, because he is a that was wicked. Face 23 Brooklyn, New York with a $20 super chat. Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer surpassed 20 million views in 10 days.
Wild.
Wild. That's a lot of views. I didn't know that. Views. Spider-Man is Spider-Man, but 20 million. 20 million. Let me check.
It was a great gameplay part of it. One thing doesn't define a whole showcase, though. I will say that. Even if I get Banjo at this Xbox show, that doesn't mean I am going to deem it a 10 out of 10. Like that's just not how it works.
It's at 10 million, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you maybe adding them all up in all the different places? Perhaps.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Then fine. Then fine. Fine face. Fine. I mean that's popular. That's fine. But face. Okay, what does that mean about the game, bro? Like a lot of people like Spider-Man is a comic book like IP.
Spider-Man is what Square Enix are looking at when they're tracking Final Fantasy pre-orders.
Then they're definitely gonna fail. Yeah, but
I did see there was somebody earlier that said Contraband for Summer Game Fest. I could picture that hard. I don't know why I could picture that hard.
Contraband.
I didn't even think of that.
To be shown. But based on some of their job listings and stuff, it seems like it's way further away.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm seeing that the same thing for like Fable or like Playground games where we're having a combat designer come join us. So I'm like, okay, what stage? Is this like quite a senior role? I don't know. But yeah, Spider-Man face, okay, it's got a lot of views. It will get a lot of sales. But that Spider-Man was the only thing. Like right. I don't know. Me personally, I'm not that hyped about Spider-Man. But you know my views on Spider-Man. But Xbox are going to go ahead. They're going to have some surprise. They've already said that. They decided this show in January. They already fixed their show in January. Although I think they're subject to something's changing after whatever Redfall and stuff. I hope they don't pull things out because PlayStation Showcase was so terrible. I hope they still want to. They feel the pressure. And one of them actually, I was talking to him. He said, "Yeah, there's a lot of pressure." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, good. Just deliver a good show. I don't care." But fuck your pressure. Sorry if you're watching this. Just deliver a good show, man. You got this. But yeah, like it's gonna be good. I think. Look, generally, we need to. Well, okay. I don't think it's gonna. Let me be clear. I'm not fully confident in Microsoft delivering the show. They need to. Just because PlayStation fucked up so badly with theirs, a lot of people will be like happy with 1 or 2 games, but I think you need to park that to one side and then realize what Xbox needs to do for you as a gamer, for Xbox fans. And that's why they need to show gameplay from these first-party studios. For months on end, we've been talking about that these studios are in turmoil, speculating on the initiative. If you showed Perfect Dark, then we'd be shocked and it'd be positive. Showed State of Decay, we've had a lot of news about Undead Labs' problems. Imagine if they showed that. I think State of Decay 3 gameplay showing would be very significant. I think it'd be really good. And apparently there's this one, State of Decay 1 and 2 weren't exactly visual heavyweights, and almost the studio acknowledged it. 2 looked like 1 until the graphics up revamp. But can man imagine State of Decay like looking good, like a current gen? There could be something pretty saucy. We're sleeping on that. I think we're sleeping on what State of Decay could be.
I've heard that basically this is State of Decay 3 is the culmination of what what's the studio's name? I forget the studio's name. Dang it, it's a fun name.
Undead
but
Lab?
Undead Labs. This is the culmination of what they've kind of been building up to, and that's great to hear. You know, like
at the same time, there was a developer that left that. They were talking about the signed poster where all of their colleagues had signed this poster and none of them were at the studio anymore. He was like one of the last people from Undead Labs that delivered the first State of Decay to still be at the studio. So it's hard to call it the culmination of all of their dreams when none of the people are still there.
A culmination of what's left of us.
Culmination of all of the dreams as per the notes that they left in their diaries.
Bro, that is so true. Those dreams, bro. Yo, that is a mad. Thank you for mentioning that. This week we found out hold on, that combined with the mass exodus with 70 which studio was it? Arkane.
Arkane
75%. This could be a internal wide issue with their first party studios.
Like, the industry has really high staff turnover anyway, so the Arkane Austin one is probably skewed a little bit, because when a game is delivered, you typically see a large number of people move around. That's just the way that game development is, especially with contractors and all the rest of it. But at the same time, I know there's some smoke there. There might be a little bit of fire. I don't know.
And State of Decay, we've had studios of Undead Labs not being happy internally. There've been a lot of like clashes there. So I'll be surprised if Undead, now talking with you guys about it, that they would show that. I think that shit, man.
I think the big thing with the showcase, though, to know is that 2022 they pushed back a good deal. You know, everything that they were going to release, essentially, they had to push it back to 2023, which is making 2023 feel nice for that spread out schedule I mentioned earlier. But now it's like, okay, so now that your slate is starting to get clean, what's happening with 2024? Yeah. So that's what I really hope to come out of this showcase with, is feeling like, you know, after Starfield is out, after Motorsport's out, I have an idea of the next, you know, the next 4 quarterlies, if you will. And I'll look forward to knowing what that is. So
definitely. Well, I agree with this super chat. Fly Guy with the $2. Please no Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, Elder Scrolls Online, and Flight Sim. Please, one of these is going to make it. Let's be real. Halo probably will get a little season trailer.
I'm going to say, though, the Minecraft one, like, I agree with the Flight Sim and Sea of Thieves. Those two are there every single showcase that I get tired of it.
Not ESO.
ESO, I feel like it's every other showcase, but
they showed it last frequently.
Minecraft, on the other hand, I don't agree with that one. I don't think Minecraft's at every single showcase. But
Minecraft ray tracing, though, well, maybe on console that'd be good if they had.
That would be good. Yeah.
Or just ray tracing, but I agree with you, man. Well, they will show 1 or 2 as long as the pacing is so important in these shows. And that's where how are they going to structure that? What they're going to show first is going to be a lot. The focus should be gameplay, though. Gameplay, and I would stress that it would be quite important, I think very important, to show gameplay running on the Series X. And
label that, communicate that.
Communicate that, absolutely. Well, the labeling has to happen. There's no reason.
After Redfall, you cannot do that again.
With Phil Spencer coming on to say that will never happen again and giving assurances, you better be working out there and putting that playable PC footage as well. And but that will look bad for Xbox. The more you see that, and this is where I'm expecting to see a little bit of Source controversy against Xbox. They'll show gameplay, but primarily with the warnings saying it's on PC. So just be mindful of that. But I don't know, man. I think generally it'll be a great show. But there's a lot we don't know that's coming. That's the thing. There's a lot we can talk about today, but I'm not going to go on. I'm conscious of the time. We've gone over like 2 hours, 20 minutes. But yeah, shout out to 500 people still watching. Smash that like button. But yeah, like next week we're going to be over the freaking moon, man. I'm just going to be hyped for it. I'm just a bit salty that I'm not there. But it was weird. E3 got cancelled. Why would I go? But now I'm like, could be a show for the ages. It could not. I hope it's not a conservative show. I have no full confidence in Xbox delivering an excellent show. I will not say that. But I'm very, very excited. I know it was better than the PlayStation one, which is shit for PlayStation. It's shit for me as a PlayStation owner as well. A little bit of competition would have been really good to see these two. Like, oh, now Xbox really needs to show something. But this is a fluid thing. We'll remember this conversation next year, but this year is very important for Microsoft. I know we say it every year, but this year is very important for Xbox. Needs to deliver an epic show.
And a very quick shout out to Summer Game Fest happening just beforehand. We might get some cool stuff there too. We're talking about Xbox, and we don't need to talk about Summer Game Fest, but we'll see that on the 8th, 3 days beforehand. You might get to see your Elden Ring DLC, Persona 6. Who knows? We'll find out.
Probably Death
and we'll find out that Suicide Squad is coming out 2035.
Good. Rebuild that.
Good. That's good.
Oh, man. Before we go, KBG, tell the peoples. You had Colt on yesterday. What's happening tomorrow? Give people the source. Thank you, man, for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. And I was telling you guys earlier, last night, Colt Eastwood and I had him on my channel for the first time, which is great. If you want to hear more speculation about things, Colt and I shared the 3 locks that we got, the 3 probably will happens, and our 3 hopes, including him chewing me out for wanting Banjo. So if you want to watch that, head over to Samurai Kibaji, and you can chat with me live also next Monday on Twitch, and I'll be live reacting to the show. Really looking forward to this, man. And yeah,
epic.
Thank you guys for having me. Banjo-Kazooie. You know, if you see that during the show, you're gonna think of me now, though. You're gonna think, oh, I bet Keeps is so happy.
As soon as that comes, I'm gonna be messaging you, you piece of shit.
You're gonna message me. You're just gonna message me a picture of just like, fuck you. Just a picture of your ass or something.
Oh man, I hope not. And JD gave me the $2. He says, hold the line. Well, respect to all those who are holding the line. We've held on to it long enough. And I've been snorting it. No, I've not been snorting the line, wherever that is. I've been non-existent. Let's see Xbox deliver the madness. Please deliver madness. It has to be mad. It has to be good. It doesn't have to be just better than PlayStation. It has to be great. But on that note, Asa, last minute note words for lovely viewers.
Not many. Like Kibaji, thank you again for always coming on and holding a good conversation. Fonz, if you do happen to catch this after the fact, sorry that you didn't get a long full featured outro. Hope you're doing well though. I know you got a lot going on. Anybody who wants the snot beaten out of them live on air, that'll be happening tomorrow. Street Fighter Challenge will be open, so you're gonna lose. Like, you haven't got a chance, but if you can take the embarrassment, then come along and jump on. I don't actually know how the matchmaking works across that game, but we'll figure it out. That'll be the hardest part of beating your ass.
Wow. Fighting words. Please beat the shit out of him. Please beat the shit out of him. I want good players only. Good players only. Go follow him on Twitter. Beat the shit out of him. Record it and put it on Twitter. And then I'll clip this part and just going to cut it straight. It'll be brilliant. Oh, shout out everyone. Thank you so much. I'm working on Source video too. timing is crazy. Next week is busy for me. I'm still working on it. I also have my ABK video on the timeline, most of it heavy edited with me singing songs, and still haven't released it. So I'm working on that. So please hit the like and share button, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. If you're listening on Spotify, hit that thumbs up thing. I think it helps us out a lot in positive reviews and whatnot. If you hated it, let us know. Thank you. Take care, and we'll see you next week for the hype show. You.